Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. It is 11:30 a.m. on Sunday. We all know what that means. That means it is Lumberjack Landlord live stream. I am lumberjacked up, fully platted out, ready to have some amazing conversation about real estate. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of things today. We're going to talk about inflation, how what I see it's impacting my business, what I'm going to do in my business, and you guys can certainly follow along or just listen to what this goofball has to say about how he's managing in his business. We're going to talk about my two newest deals. Any and all questions are available on the table. You guys can see exactly how I put a deal together. In one deal, I beat nine other offers in one deal. In another deal, I actually beat 5 other offers. And I can tell you in both deals, I was not the highest priced. I wasn't the highest price in either deal, and I still won them. So there might be a little bit to what I have to say. Recognizing that there's going to be a ton of opportunity coming. I think in this market over the course of the next 6 months, I think that the verdict is in that inflation is going to be an ongoing situation. But yeah, we're going to talk about a bunch of different stuff. We're going to talk about and crawl space. Somebody asked on Mike's live stream yesterday about crawl spaces. Mike is an amazing investor, amazing economist. I have crawled under foundations. So I talk about all that firsthand knowledge of doing the work, actually in the field, under the houses, in the houses. So that's all stuff that I have hands-on experience doing, that I can talk to you guys about product that we use, the benefits of those products, etc. So we'll spend a lot of time covering that stuff. But yeah, it should be an exciting time. Excited to have you guys here. Excited to be going through everything. Hopefully you guys caught Ashley's amazing debut on Mike Zuber's One Rental at a Time. I was super excited that he asked to interview her. I'm still waiting on if he'll let me interview Olivia. I think he'll let me. I think that she doesn't want to do it. So hopefully she decides that she's willing to let me give her an interview. Would love to see Zuber's better half. He got to see mine. And so, yeah, it was an awesome opportunity. I was glad that he asked it. We are very excited that we're actually going to be doing a joint show, Ashley and I. We're going to do a joint show. Really excited to do that for folks. So if you have a significant other that is not on board, I highly recommend watching that. Also, if you are of a female persuasion, I would also recommend watching it, only because I know that a lot of, and this is just feedback I get in real life, is that a lot of people think I am overwhelming. And I get it. I laugh about everything. I just have a good time with life. And sometimes that is off-putting to people. Ashley is very fun. She's very nice. I can kind of be crass and obnoxious. And so certainly women are usually far more refined than men. And so that's usually off-putting to them. But yeah, Ashley's amazing. I'm super excited to be doing a show with my wife. We've been together for 16 years, and we're going to talk about all sorts of fun stuff. But yeah, I have an amazing wife. I have an amazing life, just like I wrote in the post. Amazing wife, amazing life. We are just super blessed, and we've worked really hard to get where we are. But honestly, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of hard work. It's been a lot of sacrifice. But we are definitely enjoying the income snowball, as Dion likes to talk about it, and have just amazing teams of people around us, which is also really exciting. Oh. There was a live stream right from one of my brokers putting something out there about one of the tenants that they placed. So it's good to have a great team. It was perfect timing that she actually mentioned it. Great to have a fantastic team that is out there. And even when they're not renting the property, they actually still work in the city. And so they drive around. One of the questions that I see come up a lot too is, town size. So I started in New Hampshire's largest city. It was 119,000 people. And after being an investor there for a few years, I ended up literally just, I think 2 or 3 years. I just hated it. I hated the type of tenant that I got. I hated, um, I didn't like anything about it. Didn't like anything about it. Didn't like the city. Didn't like the tenants that I would get. And recognized that for what I did, I needed to find a different market. And so I did. I looked really, really hard, found a different market, and moved there. And it's been amazing since. So I started in that market originally in about '04. And then I got into my market around '06. I started in that. Actually, that's the market that I started buying investment property in. The other stuff that I bought was house hack. And so that stuff I started in 2000, either 2000, I think it's 2001. So we're right on 20 years. So anyway, we'll jump in. We'll get some uh, Chester. So I just saw Chester's largest city. So it's Manchester. Manchester is New Hampshire's largest city. I think Nashua is number 2, and I think Concord's number 3. But yeah, Manch Vegas. That's right, Matt Herbert. Manch Vegas. And I can tell you, I love Vegas and I hate Manchester. So I will never honor Manchester by calling it Manch Vegas ever again. I hate Manch Vegas. Yeah. Mm-mm. Nope, not for me. Not a city for me. I did not do well there. Kicked my butt. Sure, other investors do really well there. Not the type of tenant that I wanted. It was, yeah. I'm happy to go into it. Any city that has 37 building inspectors should be a red flag. Yep, 37 building inspectors, brutal. And so I know that we have some investors here that do match, and good for them. I'm glad that they make it work for me. And I think now is a little bit different a time too. But yeah, for me, it was horrible. So let's jump into it. Let me start reading some questions, doing our good mornings, and then we'll start covering some of the topics that I had prepared for you guys today. Janet Santiago, good morning. Good morning. Baby's doing great. Baby had chemo this last Monday. She's on a once a week chemo regimen right now. For those of you who don't know, my daughter Eliana is 7 months old and she is battling a very aggressive acute cancer. She's doing well. She's doing well in the treatments. And so she actually has treatment again tomorrow. So she has treatment again tomorrow. Well, she'll be in for the day. And then she will, when everything tests out, when they do labs at the end of the day, everything tests out, then they send her home. And then we will go into, then we will wait for her next day where she does labs. And they do labs usually 3 days after treatment. And then they'll make sure that they were still on course to do the next set of labs. Sorry. So one of the rules, in case you're new here, one of the rules that I always tell people is I have people working on Sundays. I believe in the side hustle. If you couldn't tell or haven't watched any of my stuff before, I believe in the side hustle. So we always like to reward guys that are trying to make extra money for their families and trying to put extra money away for Christmas, certainly. And so we always have folks working Saturday and Sunday. We don't tell them they have to, but by choice they want to because they're trying to earn money. And I'm not going to tell people that what days they can and can't work. So we always have folks working their side hustle on the weekends. When you see me look down at my phone, it's because I'm getting a message from one of those contractors that we need to make sure that we're keeping busy because we are paying by the hour. And we don't want them sitting around twiddling their thumbs. So we always want to get their answer back real quick. Let's see. All right. So thank you very much, Janet. Baby is doing well. Like I said, this Monday she's in for treatment again, and then she has a bigger treatment right before Christmas. The week of Christmas, she's actually in for a 3-day, and then hoping that they will make it home in time for Christmas Eve and Christmas. So for those of you who don't know as well, we're also quarantined. So Christmas will just be just us. And at best, if it's mild outside, we'll have some people come and they'll stand in the driveway and we'll say hi to everybody. That's kind of that's our thing now at this point. So that said, just get back over to my right screen. All right. So thank you very much. She's doing well. I miss you because I'm working overtime this month. I love that you're getting ahead though, getting more cash flow. Love that. What are your thoughts about Powell on keeping interest rate lower? Great question. I think that he will not touch the interest rate. I think he will talk about it. And I think when he talks about it, I think that that's going to shift rates like it always does. So even when, the market always likes to go off of what he says and then start anticipating, and then that pushes rates lower or higher. I think rates are going to be higher. I will tell you a story though, that this last week I worked with my bank. I pushed pretty hard. It's something you can do after you've got a great relationship with your banker and they have your best interests. Let's be honest, if you're just a number at a bank, they don't have your best interests, but I have great relationship with my bankers. They're friends. They're legitimately their friends. They're great, great, great people. I love spending time with them, talking with them, getting their viewpoint on on things and giving them my viewpoint to help them out in any other deals that they're looking at or seeing, and maybe something that they might not have heard of or know. So it really is a very strong relationship. And because of that, they really advocate. They really advocate for me. They really advocate for the business. And so very excited to announce that we were able to get a couple deals done at 4%, 30-year fixed. Let's see if your bank can do that. That was pretty awesome. I was really excited about that. Super excited to get the news, but know that they're pushing hard for us. And we absolutely love them. We really do. Like, that's the real world. We love them. Tina, love her to death. She's absolutely the best. She's been a huge part of our family business growing. And I highly recommend you won't get a Tina, but you should certainly strive to get something almost as good. Yeah, she's been a huge part of our business growing, and just super grateful for her and love doing business with her. So I think that they will taper first. I think they will raise rates second. I don't think they're going to make it to 2023 before rates raise, because inflation, as you guys know, was 6.8 annualized this last reading. I think we're going to get into the 7s, potentially the 8s next year. And then we're in trouble. We're in trouble now because I think all that stuff is coming. But that's why I've prepared my portfolio the way that I have. Yeah. So I think that's it on the Powell thing. We'll talk more about it over the course of the next couple of hours. There's going to be a lot more to it, I am sure. But yeah, it's gonna get ridiculous. For those of you who are my age and know what that song is. Anyway, so the question: the inflation is killing the medium class. Janet Santiago. Yes, it is. It's killing the middle class because low and middle. Yeah, it kills us all. But what they're seeing now is that it's starting to change behavior. When things get that much more expensive, where gas was $2.25 a year ago, where I was. Now it's $3.69 I paid last night. $1.50 a gallon is going to start to change behavior. It's going to start to change behavior. People are going to drive less. They're not going to take the long trips in the car. Even when they could jump on a plane, or they're still doing trips now. We're a big leaf peeper state, so people jump in their cars from Massachusetts and they'll drive 2 or 3 hours north and just see all the foliage change. We're through most of that already at this point in the year. But yeah, it's starting to change behavior. I used to drive 82 miles each way to work, but I had a really good job, so I would just literally see. I saw when gas went with Katrina. Gas went into the 4s around here, like 4.50. I changed cars. I got a real beater to drive to and from the office that got 28 miles a gallon instead of what I had that got 16. So yeah, I think inflation will start to change spending habits, and when that happens, that's when you need to buckle up. And that's already started happening. Because then supply chain matters less because there's less demand for product because the pricing is high. Like you're already seeing in lumber increase. So Tom, what's up, buddy? Miss you. Hey, Tom, miss you too, buddy. So Tom is my good buddy that came over from the UK. He was here for a couple weeks. Got to come over here and shoot some guns for a bit, which I'm sure was fun. I know it was fun for me. I'm pretty sure it was fun for them. The only weapon they're allowed to have in the UK is a knife, or wit, one of those two. But yeah, Tom, great to see you, buddy. Excited to see you again soon. Hopefully we'll be doing this again soon. John, Texas, good morning. Good morning. Invest to Wealth, good morning. Yes, say hi to Mrs. Lumberjack. We sure will. So here's a good time to announce that. So Ashley and I will be doing that show. I announced it a little bit earlier in this program, but Ash and I are going to be doing a show together. Bring your significant others. If you're an agent and you have couples that you're working with, send them a link to the show, have them watch it. Younger brothers and sisters, daughters and sons. This is going to be really family oriented. We'll certainly talk about the business, but we'll also just talk about kind of our relationship and how we divvy things up. If you couldn't tell by the video, she adores me. I get it. I get it. But I adore her too. So we have an awesome life together, absolutely love each other. And it's so much fun to do stuff with her. And yeah, recognize that we are 90-10. So we have very extreme giftings and they're opposite. And so it really does. If you can leverage them and use them together and recognize what those are, it really can make a relationship work great. Because if you're exactly alike, there's redundancy there. And usually people will have skill sets in the same area. So what you need to do is leverage your partner's skill set, your spouse's skill set, your partner's skill set, but leverage those skill sets because it will make your business better. So we tried very much in the early on to have her do design work and decorate. And then we did me, and I was better at it. People like my palette a lot more, I guess, which is funny with the lumberjack thing. I get it. Yeah, very funny. But yes, I will say hi to Mrs. Lumberjack. She is awesome. She's actually baking cookies with the kids right now. I know. How lumberjacking can you get? Crimson Knight, good morning. Good morning, sir. Ava, good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Sunday. Ava, good morning. Happy Sunday. Ava's always so pleasant. Thank you, Ava. Thank you for bringing some pleasantness to the show. Some I don't know. I can't think of a better word. You're just I've never met you, but you seem very pleasant. Invest to Wealth. She's very inspiring. Thank you very much. She is the consummate team player. She couldn't locate where her oil fill cap was on her car, right, when we met. And so I was dealing with rock bottom with ability to understand kind of how things work mechanically or any of that stuff. But she's smart. She's a hard worker. She's a team player. And so she got in it. And we talked about when she was going to nursing school. I put my wife through nursing school. For those of you who don't know, I said, I will have the only job if you can just take some of the weight off my shoulders on the properties. She's like, yeah, I can do that. And I said, but you're going to have to learn like 10 or 12 different things. It's going to help take that weight off, because those are the kind of 10 or 12 things that I'm always dealing with. And so to her credit, we did everything together for quite some time while we went through that transition. Yeah, she ended up graduating top of her class. She was an awesome nurse. She's not retired, but she's put it on the back burner for now because we have 3 kids and because of Eliana's cancer diagnosis. So we've been a bit busy. So yeah. But yeah, thanks for saying Invest Well. She is very inspiring. She's awesome. Matt Herbert, good morning, Matt and all. Looking forward to another enlightening session. Well, I will dial one up for you. That's perfect because I have enlightening right down the list. So we're good. We're ready. Matthew Paris, we need a Mrs. Lumberjack Landlord channel if for no other reason other than she's easier on the eyes. Yeah, ain't that the truth? It's true. It's true. But definitely no channel with her, but definitely a we're gonna try and do. I don't know if we're gonna go weekly off the guy out of the gate, but we're definitely gonna do an hour long session, and we're gonna try and make it a live session too, so people can ask questions. Um, so yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. We'll do that during the week. It'll be at night, um, after all the kids are in bed, quite frankly, and we after we know they're asleep. So it will probably be like an 8 o'clock Eastern time, 9 o'clock Eastern time, some time frame like that, and for probably about an hour. So excited for that. Chester Williams, we already answered that. Is largest city in New Hampshire is Manchester. How long until I move to Dover? LOL. Yeah, yeah. Honestly, it wouldn't be the worst thing. There are some deals here. Like I've crushed it this week on on two just ridiculous deals. But yeah, I mean, this market I picked 15 years ago, 16 years ago, 16. I picked this market 16 years ago and I have crushed it ever since. I was doing deals then, even in the crash. Like I was buying through the crash 9, 10, 11. I bought 9, 10, 11, 12. I bought stuff. And for me, the only hindrance was getting my down payment for the next deal. But we could get, we could get a 3.5 or a 5% deal, because we were house hacking. So we'd buy the house, we'd live in it, fix it up while we live in it, and then when we were finished, we would rent out the other side. So we would actually renovate the unit that it really depended. Sometimes we renovated the other side first, sometimes we renovated our side first and then moved over to the other side. So yeah, so that really ranged, but it depended on which one had a toilet and an active shower. If you couldn't tell by watching Ashley's story, we roughed it just a little bit. Cody Evers, good morning. Good morning, sir. Matthew Paris, for serious though, there's a huge void in the investment space for female content creator who can speak to wives and husbands of us crazy people who consume beyond our control in real estate. Yep, I totally agree. That's why she made her debut in last week's live stream. She's going to be, I don't think she'll be in today's, but that was something I talked to her about. And I said, there's a lot of spouses, not even women, but there's a lot of spouses that are the other side of the coin when it comes to real estate investment. And we want to help them. We want to share that with them. We want to, anything we can, any questions we can answer, even the relationship dynamic that exists, just based on that. So yeah, I totally agree with you. That's why we're doing something together like that. Because quite frankly, I'd rather just sit there on the couch and spend time with my wife and talk about the day and talk about the kids and all that good stuff. But honestly, if we think we can help more people by spending some time during the week, just kind of sharing our relationship and how we've done it and how it's been successful and certainly not always agreed, then yeah, I'm telling you though, for the other spouse that isn't the other spouse, the Ashley version. And to be clear, the reason I keep on saying spouse is because that can be guy or girl. That can be guy or girl that's not on board with this. There can be the driver, can absolutely be the wife or the girlfriend, 100%. Or in a partnership, it can be one partner versus another. 1000%, totally agree with that. It's really more kind of personality type. And so based on that, I want to make sure that we're doing something together because I'm tough. I'm hard, but you're going to have a lot to live up to because Ashley is an amazing team player. The key is that she's not, with me, I communicate in a way that hard works. That's why I communicate that way. It's because hard works. Tell me exactly what it is. Tell me what needs to happen. Tell me where we need to go from here. For her, it's more delivery. So it's not just the content. If you don't deliver it well, she's not listening to your content. For me, I don't care how, whatever, like, let's get things done. So it's going to be an awesome show. We're very excited to do it. Just want to, give back, bless other couples, or kids that are watching it, or partners, whatever, like anything and whatever. And it's for everybody. We're here to help. So yeah, thanks for saying, Matthew. I agree with you. Crimson Knight, speaking of that COC update, inspector call in sick. Another inspector called me and basically said, we are understaffed and we call you back and reschedule. That was Monday. No callbacks yet. You know what? I mean, good for that's finally happening. That's good. I mean, sad that they're sick, sort of. But yeah, just make sure they don't try and charge you for that, because they missed something and they charged me. I was like, you guys missed the appointment. You're not charging me, because when you got there an hour later, I wasn't there. Blank you, and you know what the first word was. Chester Williams, do you factor winterization costs into your rentals? I guess there are regional and seasonal costs unique to each area, like hurricane, flood related costs in Florida, Gulf Coast. Yeah. So no, we don't factor. Well, so we factoring the cost. So believe it or not, when we buy a property, kind of the first winter, we're kind of fingers crossed, like, hey, it looks like everything's good. Like, we do the initial inspection, make sure that there's no, most of the houses that we buy, and sorry guys, I got to go off on a little tangent for a second. Almost every house that we buy was built in the 1880s. I get spoiled when we buy something and it's in like the 1910s or 1920s. So for us, old foundations, piping being retrofitted, that is common everyday practice for pretty much every building that we do. In fact, in one of the buildings that we're going to do coming up, I'm going to try and do I'm going to try and do like a recording there after we close, before anybody moves in, so you guys can see exactly what I bought or exactly what I'm buying. But yeah, so to answer your winterization costs, is usually we wait and we kind of see through the winter. If we see that there's pipes near a window in the basement, which happens all the time, we make sure that that particular window is screwed shut. It's usually one of these deals. Screw that shut, and then we'll put insulation on this side of the window. Yep. But other winterization stuff, it's usually just kind of keeping a list of the properties that have an active outdoor spigot and just shutting that off on the inside, then opening it up from the outside, making sure it drains out. And then at that point, you're largely speaking, you're winterized. There are costs where most places will have landscaping for an entire year. We have landscaping for part of the year and then snow plowing for the rest of the year. Snow plowing is more expensive than landscaping. So my snowplow bill probably this year would be, if I had to guess, I'd say it's probably $20,000. This is what my snowplowing bill this year is going to be. It's going to be expensive. So yes. So we do factor those costs in. Like I said, we usually figure for the course of the year for a given property, we're usually going to be $500 to $600 in snowplow per property. So it averages, we kind of average it out through the entire year. So it's like $50 a month. So yeah. John Doe, good morning. Good morning. Crimson Knight, those inspectors are also holding up my tenant's gut rehab job in West Manchester. Been holding it up 3 weeks for electrical before we can close off the walls. Yep. That sounds like Manchester. Sounds just like them. They're too busy out there chasing, trying to catch someone, as opposed to just showing up for the inspections that they've been told that they're ready for. That's another reason we got out of Manchester, was we found that between the different stages of doing a construction project, that they could be 2 or 3 weeks to get out. That's one of the nice things about picking a smaller town, even with great growth. So the city that I picked, we are 4 years in a row, we are the fastest growing city in the state. And they've continued to add resources to that building department. But again, this is where relationship matters. And I can get pretty much any of those inspectors on a job site of mine within a few days. Yep. And they're good people. They hire good people, not clock punchers. They hire good people that care about the job and care about the outcome. And so because of that, they understand that time is money. They understand that they're holding you up. And so they're great. They do everything they can to make sure that you pass. The only thing they're going to stop you on is a safety issue, which they should. Health or safety, they should stop us. So yeah, been through that process before. Yep, been through that process before for sure. Eli Kolner, I beat 2 asking cash offers. Very nice. Got under 4.5% under by working with dual agent who is friends with the seller. Love it. This was a massive advantage in a seller's market. Eli, 1,000%. Congratulations to you. That is part of finding out a strategy to win the deal. Guys, this is not often looked at enough. It's not often looked at enough, which is taking each deal and negotiating only that deal and not maybe what's won in the past or what might win in the future. It's understanding that deal. What are the dynamics of that deal, right? So, yeah, I'll talk about my deal. So, I'll talk about one of them to start, and then we'll talk about the other one later. But the first one was property hit the market. I just want to be accurate and tell you exactly what it hit the market for. Let's see. Okay. 479 is what that hit the market for. 479 is what that hit the market for. I offered, they had a big, huge open house on Saturday. This house is a very, very, very rare footprint. Very rare. Not unique, not different, but rare. I flock to these houses. The way our city charts things is they say that, there's, I think they say there's something like 74 bedroom or 84 bedroom units, but that includes single family homes. There's like 84 bedroom units in the city. Well, I own 20. 4 bedrooms, fives. I own 20% of that market because it's high density. So this is something I've always bought. I've always bought large duplex, high bedroom count. And this one is huge. House is huge. Couple lessons. One, they took the footprint of the house and said, this is what the square footage is. It's wrong because I know the footprint. They didn't actually measure out each of the rooms, which they should have done. First thing, because when they posted it, they said it was 3,000 square feet. It's actually closer to 3,600 square feet. So it's about 1,800 square feet aside. Massive 5-bed, 2-bath. 5-bed, 2-bath. So these properties are super, super rare. There's literally, outside of single family home, there might be 30 of these in the city. When they go to market, they should have a huge premium attached. I have no idea how they priced this at $479. I think they might have priced it based on the rents that they were getting on one side was $2,000. On the other side, it's completely renovated. They had the tenant leave and they completely renovated the unit. It's done. Kitchens, bathrooms, floors, paint, everything's done. 100%. Nothing to do. Nothing to do. Everything's done. So how's that blow your mind? Everything's done on that unit. So that unit, they're probably saying, well, if next door got 2, maybe this gets 22, right? So they're assuming, they're making some assumptions. Now, I do my work. I know my market cold. I know it better than 99.9% of the agents out there. And there's maybe one agent that comes to mind that I think might know it better than me. One agent. One. The rest of the other 1,000 agents that service my area, there's no doubt in my mind I know it better than they do. This difference, this understanding of what that building was and what that footprint was, 1,800 feet aside, 2 baths on each side. I know I can get $3,000 a month. My rents are $3,000 a month. I have these other properties that I know what they're priced at, and I know what I get for rent. I get $3,000 a month. There's no doubt in my mind I'm going to get $3,000 a month aside. That's simple. So I'm basing my numbers on the 6, right? I'm not basing it on their 4,200 that they think they're gonna get. I'm basing it on my 6. So give me 1 second. I worked up a property card on this because I do on all my properties. So 525 is the home value, down payment 20%, mortgage amount 420, interest rate 4%, 30-year amortization fixed. Yep, you got it. One-time expenses, I threw in $5,000. Property taxes, are you ready for those of you who don't live in an income state, tax-free state? Easy for me to say. $9,500 of the state are the income of the property taxes. Homeowners insurance $1,500. Let's calculate. Principal and interest $2,005 a month. Property taxes $791 a month. Homeowners insurance $125 a month, bringing my grand total to $2,921. Let's just say it was minus the 4,200, so it'd be $1,279. And then, minus, call it $100 a month of maintenance between plowing, landscaping, blah, blah, blah. So we'll call it $1,179. Even if it were $1,179, right? Let's play some math real quick. So 525, excuse me. 525. Nope. Just the 20%. Sorry. So that would be 105. Clear. 105. 105,000. Wait, sorry. I'm being dumb this morning. Can you tell I got a bad night's sleep? Let's see. 1179 times 12 is 14,148 divided by 105. There we go. 13.47. That's a pretty good number, right? Who wouldn't like the return on a deal? 13.47. Except those aren't the numbers. They aren't, because my number is actually 6,000, $3,000 a month. I have it verified. I have other units, same size, renting for this amount. So $3,000. Actually, excuse me. So the number, here's the magic, right? The number 2921 stays the same. The difference is now it's minus from 6,000. So it's 3,079. We'll call it 2,979 to take out the same $100. So now we'll do 2,979 times 12 is 35,748 divided by the $105,000 down payment that I'm going to have is 3404. 34%. Right? It's just math, guys. It's just math. Now, why did I win the deal? Won the deal because I paid more than everybody else, or almost everybody else in this deal. There were 2 other offers that were higher than mine after we got the deal closed. That's what they told us. I said, why'd you choose us? Here's the magic. They chose us, one, because we had a letter from a vice president at a bank saying, basically, he's pre-approved. He's pre-approved. He has enough funding to close on this deal. Number one. Number two, we had a bank statement that we showed them with 6 figures in it, knowing that we weren't going to get turned. Now that again further solidifies, hey, they're not going to turn us down for this. We have money sitting on the sidelines, ready to do this. Number two. Number three, we asked them for the 3 things that they wanted. Believe it or not, the first thing that they came back with was price, which is always in the top 3. That's why I asked for a top 3. Price is always in the top 3. But it was price. It was let the tenants that are there now stay, even though they're month to month, so not make them push them out and evict them. Fine. And the third thing was closing before the end of January. That was easy. Super easy, actually. It was 45 days actually. So that was super easy, not a problem. So those are the three things that were the poor. Oh no, sorry. That one, that was not the timing term. That was the other one. This one was inspections. They wanted us to shorten all of our inspection time frame. So 7 days, and they wanted a bigger deposit. So shorter due diligence with a bigger deposit that they would then say we keep half of if you decide not to move forward. So I do have skin in the game, but they saw that I was serious, right? They saw that I was serious. 9 offers. I was the third best offer, and we won the deal. That was relationship of my agent, because he's well thought of in the industry, and working with another agent that's well thought of in the industry that had done work together in the past. Number one. Number two was we were completely prepared to make the winning offer. We were prepared to make the winning offer. That was a difference. We came to the table saying, this is what we're able to offer. Here's who we are. Here's what we've done. We know we're going to get this approved. We'd like to understand from you what's left to be important. That brought my initial offer from 500 that we took off the table before the open house, because I tried to get it pushed to get the deal done before the open house happened on Saturday. So I had it walked the day it went on the market on Wednesday. Talked to my agent. He goes, these are the ones you buy. He's like, this is it. It's another one of these. I said, okay, great. So we put together the offer that day, had them respond by 7 p.m. the next day, which was Thursday before the open house. They came back and said, and get this, $479 was the list price. I offered $5. No dice. They didn't want it. And we asked them the top 3 things. At that point, they said, literally the answer was only price. So we put 500 in front of them. They said no. Okay, fine. You said no. So they said no to the 500. And they said, but we like to keep your offer on the table. No. If anybody comes back to you, the answer is, we'd be happy to hear from you after you guys have your offers in hand. However, we're not going to keep this deal on the table, because they can instantly tell everybody that's walking that house on Saturday, we already have an offer. They don't have to just say we're expecting offers. Everyone's expecting offers, but they literally can disclose we already have an offer. They can't say what it is, but they can say we already have an offer. Why would I want to put them in a better position like that? I do not. So they got everything done. We knew that they wouldn't pick any offers until Monday. So Sunday, my broker reached back out to them, had the conversation, said, this is what I think, let us know what the top 3 important things. I know last time you said was just price, but now that you've seen these other offers, try to construct your best counter back to us, the things that you like of these other deals. They did that. And for us, terms were plenty agreeable. We got that deal. We crushed it. And now I've got a deal that's going to do a 34% return on capital. I like to know how I messed up my numbers the last time. I don't know how I messed up last time, because I came up with 24%. I think I might have just hit the wrong button. So yeah, 34% on that deal. And that was an MLS deal. Yes, we had 9 other offers, or 8 other offers we competed with, but we closed the deal. That's simple. So Eli, to your point, you can win a deal, relationship, structure it properly, and you won. Well done. Jeremy Kirkwood, good morning. Good morning, sir. J-Lo Flicks, blessed Sunday to you and your family, Matt. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Matthew Paris, check, thumbs up, check. Shared live to Facebook feed. Nice. Unless you're, cool. Awesome. Unless you're now streaming this on Facebook. Either way, cool. Love it. Dion. All right, my man. Dion Talk Financial Freedom. Love that guy. It's fantastic. He made the comment of steel sharpens steel, iron sharpens iron. I'm with him. I love it. I love working with him. I love the approach he takes to his business. And every time we talk, it reminds me of something I stopped doing, tells me something I should be doing. Not directly tells me, but based on his story, it gets me to say, you know what, I should start doing that again. Or I hadn't thought about that. I need to tweak that a little bit. So this is why these live streams are so important, is because it's those A, relationships, but B, most importantly, iron sharpens iron. We want to continue to get better at this. And quite frankly, have people that are in this community win as many deals as they possibly can. That's what I want. That's what I want to see. So yeah, awesome. So thanks. Smash the like button. Absolutely. I agree with him. Smash that like button. I don't want to steal that from Graham Stephan. So gently caress, give it a tickle, whatever. Anthony Rosales, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Don, good morning. Good morning. Crimson Knight 921. Oh yeah, guns remind me I need to do the 22 test on the American Flooring Corps when I am in Maine next weekend. I don't know why you need to shoot the floor, man. No one else is shooting the floor. Crimson Knight has this thing about wanting to shoot the flooring from American Flooring Corporation because he thinks that will help it further pass a test. I don't know. I've never had a gun go off in one of my apartments where it then hit the floor. And then we had to worry about it. That's awesome. Niles Patel. Hey, Niles. Good morning. I'm not sure I think you might have joined us once in the past, but excited to have you here. Excited to always have everybody here, but I love new folks too. Makes the group better and bigger. Ava, thank you. You're welcome. I appreciate it as well. Crimson Knight, when you talk about 17 Hill, yep. Can you talk about all the rehab work you're going to do? So a visual idea of before and after what to do, probably going to have a lot of questions. Yeah, sure. So 17 Hill is the deal that I'm under contract on. Just do me a favor. Don't do anything weird, group that's watching, because we're under contract, but we're not signed yet. So just as an FYI. But on that deal, there's really not much left to do. Kitchens are done. Bathrooms are done. Oil tanks have been replaced. Heating systems are 11 years and 3 years old. So they're well seasoned. It is steam heat, which I don't necessarily mind steam heat, because I'm very familiar with how to work with it. So I don't mind steam heat. One pipe steam is what it's called. Not difficult. The only thing that I see it really needs is it needs some exterior paint, which won't happen until the spring. And it needs some interior paint. Everything was painted, but I think a couple rooms. So yeah, no, there's not gonna be a lot of work there. The basements are clean. It actually doesn't have tenants in it, that are going to be staying. So that kind of works. And it's got two-car garages on the corner of the lot. Love that. The only thing I don't know is what I'm going to do with those. They need some work, but I think it's just shoring up. They had done an inspection, so I got a copy of the inspection report. Inspection report was good. There were a few things, but nothing that we'll do right away, kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, what will I do in that house? It's vinyl sided. So in the springtime, but it's yellow. For those of you who don't know, yellow is the lumberjack's kryptonite. I hate yellow. I hate yellow. Yellow and cream. I hate them. I hate those colors. So I always change them to my colors. So it will get painted in the springtime. What'll be good for me is I will get a deal now where I will talk to the guys now and talk to them about pricing, because I have 3 houses exterior that need to be painted next year. So we'll get a good deal because we'll do all 3 at the same time, one after the other, and give them work. So visually not a lot because they already have replacement windows. They've already been vinyl sided. The roof's already pretty new. It was replaced in the last 5 years. Driveway on each side. The driveways are in good shape. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's going to be pretty good. So I don't expect to do a whole lot of work there. I don't expect to do a whole lot of work there. There's a couple rooms that only have like a walk in the room twist type of light. I hate those. And so in there, I will take the feed that's going to that. I'll put a switch there on the wall, and I will put 2 pancake lights in there. But you're talking $100 for each of those rooms. So that's all I'm going to do there. A little bit of interior paint, but nothing crazy. So it should be fairly light. Theta Hedge Capital Morning. Have you heard of any additional Section 8 increases or changes to 2022 rates due to CPI locking in at 6.8? Thank you for all you do. Theta Hedge, you're very welcome. And yes, I have. I shared it last week. Give me just 1 second, and I will tell you. Actually, I can tell you this. I can tell you that there's travel. So I remember the numbers. There's travel where January 1 is when the new rate becomes available, number one. Number two, they have to go to get that approval. They start asking based on what they're seeing in September and October. So they started asking in September and October. Excuse me. They started asking in September, October. Most of them got approved in early November. It was a 10% increase, and it was a 10% increase not only on rent, but also on utility. So, for example, my area for a 2-bedroom was $1,250, and with utilities included was $1,420 something, $1,430 something. That went to 1380 or 1370 without anything included, and it went to 1580, right around there, 1590, right around there on 2 bedrooms with everything included. So you went it's about a 10% increase from year to year. In fact, just so I could stagger the lease properly, I actually just so I could stagger the lease properly, I actually put off one moving in until January 1. I said, if you guys want to make up the difference, they said we can't based on what the rate goes to in January 1. Okay. Then we can start the lease January 1 with the new rate, because I'm not taking 11 months of the old, I'm not taking 12 months of the old rate. Nope, that ain't happening. So getting that January renewal, it sucks in the wintertime. It sucks doing that in our climate, but that's the best approach. It's the best approach because you're going to always get that newest year's rent at the beginning of that lease, which is what you want. So let me know if that answers your question, Theta Hedge. But yeah, 6.8, they didn't base it on that because they have to get all those numbers in before the end of the year. But it's not like it wasn't hot before. Like, we were still in the 5s and I think low 6s. So we still saw a 10% increase, which was good. And I think they're going to go for that 10% again next year, quite frankly. Don, what are your thoughts on interest rates dropping? My dog stepped on the phone earlier. Okay. Oh, the D. Gotcha. I was like, okay. Dog stepped on the phone. No worries. First time I've heard that. And your dog's not very articulate, like said D. So it was maybe trying to spell out dog. It's possible. So let's see. So interest rates topping. What are my thoughts? Interest rates topping at? I think next year they're in the 4s. I think next year they're in the 4s. I think we could hit 5. Not the Fed funds rate, but the actual what you're getting a mortgage for. I think it's going to be in the 4s. I think it's going to be in the 4s. I think it can touch 5 by the end of the year. I would not be surprised at all if in 3 years you're looking at 6 or 7. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Possible, but again, it's not financial advice because I'm not an economist. I don't work for a bank. This is just a feeling. I think that inflation is going to be tougher to tame than they expect. That's what happened in the 70s based on all the research I've done. So I think it looks a lot like the 70s. Powell's changed a lot from the jobs guy to the inflation guy now. So I think they're going to taper faster. I think they're going to raise faster. But I don't think that they're going to raise fast enough to kill it. I think they'll only raise fast enough to hurt it. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked at all if you're seeing rates. And then banks start taking on premiums, right? They start taking on premiums where investor loans become even more expensive faster. That's what I kind of see happening. That's my feeling. Yep. Uh, yes. Ooh, lots of good questions. Good. Mike Hackelman, working on a deal to do working a deal that due to rehab costs need to pay cash and finance after rehab. Okay. Seeing refi appraisals are lower than purchase appraisals. Yep. Any insight on how much lower refis are than purchased? It 100% depends on the appraiser. That's why I hate them. Because some people are really, really good at their job. I talked to 3 appraisers this week, 2 of which suck, 1 of which is awesome. Because he's truly looking at the improvements that were made, the lifespan of those improvements, and that goes into how ready or how what kind of a premium you're going to get if you go to sell the house. Because that's why they judge. That's why they have a page in there. I don't remember what the page is called, but basically the comp page, where they pick 3 subject properties and then they compare your finishes and their finishes, your location, their location, and then other items. So that's the art of appraisal, not just the math. So the art of the appraisal, that's where a really good appraiser can help that. The only thing that you can ever do is keep an accurate billing list of the work that you did. The challenge that you have with that is I've literally seen somebody take what I bought it for and the list, meld them together and go, that's the number. I'm like, no, that's not the number. That means I got 0 value. So obviously that's not the number, right? So I'm always hesitant to give them that list. But when I talk about it, if my labor was in there, like I add those items to it. And then I say, it's worth at least this, even though that math doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Just one of those things. So I don't know of the great way of doing that. It really matters on who the appraiser is that you get and talking about it. Just talking about it with the appraiser. And I always bring my own comps because I don't trust the appraiser to do all the work to find good comps. So because I'm watching my market, because I'm managing my market, when something hits a high, I'm like, that's a high price per square foot. Holy cow. Or wow, that's a big number, even though the house has a lot of square footage to it. I.e., it's like the same building type, because this one building type that we do for duplexes around here, that ranges from 2,800 square foot to 3,600 square foot. The 3,600 is the highest. What the difference is it's basically the 3rd floor being conditioned space, meaning that it's insulated as well as has some sort of a heat source. So that 3rd floor being conditioned is the difference. And you can show them that if you say, well, there was just an error in how they calculated this. The reason I paid what I paid was because the 3rd floor wasn't measured in the square footage and it actually is conditioned space. You get them to add that to their appraisal, like I've done in the past, 100 grand, 100 grand, just like that, because of an appraisal mistake. That's why I don't like appraisers, is because too often they make that mistake. Yeah, no joke. So hopefully that helps. So a few things you can look at, but yeah, make sure you're running your own comps and that they're good comps. Don't get ridiculous, but make sure they're good, strong comps. I had that done. I provided them. She provided another 2. And the 2 that she provided were a little bit less than mine, but mine with that water level up and hers being closer helped us get all the numbers on our refi. So our refis actually all came in at what I thought they would. I did a list beforehand on the entire nut, and those 6 properties, I pegged that they would be doing, I pegged their market value at 3.2 million. When she did her appraisal, it was 3.3. So I was off by 100 grand. But on 6 properties, that's pretty damn good. Was it 6? No, 7. 7. It was 7. Yep, it was 7 properties. So, but every property I was up and down a little bit up on. A couple properties I nailed right on. Some was a little light. little light on. Some I was a little over on. But like I said, when it was all said and done, 3.3 was their number. 3.2 was mine. I was off 100 grand. But the most important thing was they were the higher one. So even better. My expectation was 3.2. So they did 3.3. So yeah, love that. Death Angel PR2. Hey Matt, when you do a 1031 exchange, okay, are you obligated on taking the full equity of the home, or can I take part of it? I think you have to take the whole thing. Yeah, I think you have to take the whole thing. Yep. I think you have to take the whole thing. They might be able to do a split, but then you get taxed on that part that you get taken out at the normal rate. So I wouldn't do that. Look at the concept of, and I'm going to have a 1031 specialist on here who's in one of the country's largest, they're one of the country's largest 1031 firms. They are freaking awesome. But by law, I believe, I'm not an attorney, this isn't legal advice, but talk to your 1031 exchange specialist about this. I believe that you can, let's say you have a $100,000 house that you paid $50,000 for, so your basis is $50,000 of increase. I believe that you can use that as the payment on, let's say, another $100,000 house, right? And then have a $50,000 mortgage, but you can also do a rate, an equity. You can actually then also have your bank say, okay, we'll do that loan for you at $30,000 down. And then they'll do a modification where you can get the 20,000 bucks out of it by basically just doing the paperwork. They'll give you a mortgage on 70, and then they'll say, and then we'll basically allocate you this 20K. I believe that's how it's done. I don't really know. Not an attorney, not a 1031 specialist. I've done a ton of them, but I would ask a 1031 specialist on how exactly they do that. And your bank, most importantly. Yep. Yes. John Doe. Hey, Matt, do you ever tile over tile jobs in showers? No, I never do that. Nope, never, ever, ever. Not ever, not ever, ever, ever. Do you know why, John? Because the tiles get too heavy. The weight, it gets way too heavy. If you look at the tile job that's already there and then you put more weight on that, those things will pull away and you'll end up with a tile dropping on somebody, breaking, and then you have to redo the entire job anyway. It's so much more worth it. It won't take you more than an hour and a half to rip it down. It won't take you more than a couple of hours to re-hardy backboard it. I use hardy backer board. I usually, depending on what it calls for, I either use the quarter or the half or the 3/8 of the half. But hardy backer board, that's what I use. Special screws. You do the bottom one first, and then you put the top, and then you cut the right top one on top of it. You can rent the saw from Home Depot. If you don't have one, I have one. But you can rent the special saw from there that's to cut masonry, because that's what hardy backer board is. So I would put that back up, tape the edges, waterproof, and then call the tile guy to come in and do the tile work. I like having them prepped and ready for the tile guy. That way the tile guy is coming there to do one thing. Tile, and my guys are freaking awesome. They are freaking awesome. They are so good at tile. They're so good. But I try and do that grunt work stuff for them. Getting the hardy backer, ripping out what's there. The other thing too is that when that's open, I then also look to see if I have any leaks around the valve, over the what the heck do they call that valve? Not a flow valve. Mixing valve. Thank you. Mixing valve. The mixing valve that's there, I look at that and make sure it's one of those anti-scald valves. So yeah, that's what I look at. But yeah, that's when you rip it all apart, because then you'll see in the wall Maybe you have some flex that's getting loose. Maybe you see some drips on the floor there. Maybe there's some moisture there. Changing out the valves. If you're going to do all that, like if you're going to redo a shower, I just go with a new valve, new mixing valve, new head, new turn device, the anti-scald. I just do all of that stuff because, again, you're talking about something that's going to be multi-$1,000 reno. So changing that piece out is a couple $100. A couple $100. I swap that piece out. Even the Hardy backer board. I want to say the Hardy backer is going to cost you with screws is going to be less than $100 to do a shower, just your time and then tape, and then have the tile guy come in. So that $300 sets you up for that shower to be good for another 20, 30, 40 years. It's awesome. So that's what I do. That's what I do. Mike Hackelman, watch that 2% hurricane deductible Chester. I'm on the Gulf Coast also. Yeah. Okay. Good point. Yeah. So I don't have anything down there yet, but I will someday. Maybe. I don't know. I really don't want to live in Florida. We're going to do Vegas, I think. Seriously. We were looking in Vegas and then it went nuts. And we're just like, nope. Vegas is one of those markets that does this. It never does this. So it's here now. It's probably still going up a little bit. So we'll wait. We'll just wait on the backside of it when everything starts to fall apart and all this other stuff, because there's still plenty of new development out there. So we'll just wait. We can be patient. We can wait for the next recession. We can buy then. Or if there's a market crash, a lot of people buy stuff when the market's really high, and then they need to cash out of the asset. And then at that point, I can buy something premium for pennies on the dollar. So yeah. David M. Hi. Water leak in a 1977 house. Recommendations for old plumbing preventive actions. It's probably copper, is my guess. I don't know where your leak is. It depends. I always recommend changing out those star valves. I recommend changing out those star valves to actual ball valves. The ball valves are much, much, much better. They're much, much, much better. Those star valves deteriorate over time, especially if you have hard water, corrosion, rust. I just recommend the ball valves. And then you can exercise the ball valves a couple times, turn your water on, shut off the ball valve, leave your water on, turn the ball valve back on. I'm a huge fan of those one-line ball valves. They literally have a yellow handle. I like putting those in place. I hate the stars. The stars have led me astray every single time. Yep. Especially in older homes. So for preventative, I talk about more shutoffs. So you have your shutoff on your main line. I want to have a shutoff underneath my sinks. Obviously the shutoff on the toilet, but I also want to have a basement shutoff. Right? So I want a basement shutoff on those facilities as well. Because if I can have a basement shutoff, and again, you're talking about those valves are usually about $9 to $10 a piece. Either A, you can do them yourself, or B, have a plumber come in and just, basically, he can come in and put one of those things on there for you, no problem. And even if you're putting 6 of them in the house, it might take them a couple hours. So it's a couple $100, $250. Those ball valves will save you a fortune instead of having a leak. So yeah, big fan of those shutoffs. Huge fan. Rob, I have arrived. Howdy, TFL, Touchy Feely Landlord. Good to have you here. What's a property card? Great question. So I use an app called U.S. Mortgage Calculator. It looks like this. It looks like that. That's not the front screen, though. Front screen looks like this. But you see U.S. Mortgage Calculator right up here. So this is on an Android phone. But for each property that I do, I create one of those, and then I take screenshots of it just to see. And then I just list it in my phone as a screenshot with what it was. Yep. So that way I can see the math that I figured out. That way, anytime that I talk to the bank or whoever it is, I kind of have these numbers kind of worked out, and I can scribble the numbers right on the picture. Usually, I have a notebook with me though, or I've memorized it, and they can just say, "Yeah, just check the math." So that's what I do. Yep, that's what I do. Yeah. So that's a property card. Hindman family. Good morning, Hindman family. Good to have you here. Can you talk about asking the sellers 3 most important things to them when buying off the MLS? Yep. Does your agent ask the listing agent? Yep. Love that question. How often does it win you deals? I win deals all the time. Yeah, I win almost every deal I'm in. And I don't have the highest price. Almost never do I have the highest price. Almost never. Now, stuff in my area is still going well over ask, because my inventory in my market is usually between 40 and 45 2 to 4 unit homes. My market right now is there are 42 in the MLS, and I think 4 of them aren't closed, or 5 of them aren't closed under contract. And it's because they're way overpriced, way overpriced, way overpriced. So that wins me deals all the time, in all honesty. And yes, I tell my agent to ask that. So my agent knows me very well. He's like, yep, we'll ask them the 3 most important things. Price will always be on there. It's not usually number 1 or number 2. If you're trying to write, the other thing is speed. In this case, you want to do it as quickly as you can. That thing hits the market. If you know the market, you want to get in there. They have an open house, push to get in before the open house. Say, hey, we're a uniquely qualified buyer. We're already set up. We're already pre-qualified. We already have proof of funds. Be ready like you're buying. Be ready like you're buying. You're not kicking the tires. You're not going car shopping. No. You're ready to buy. That changes the attitude of the seller. People think, oh, that means they're going to charge me more. They already listed the price. You want to win the deal. These numbers, to me, I get why they listed it for $479. I get it. I completely understand. The only problem that they have is that they didn't account for the rents right. So I went from a 13% deal. I went from a 13% deal to a 34% deal because all of that profit goes right to the bottom line. My cost basis didn't change. So yeah, absolutely. Be talking to your agent. Talk to your agent. Talk to them about how you want to do a deal. Talk to them about how you want the deal structured. But yeah, let the seller tell you that. It's not always price. Price is always in the top 3, but it's not always number 1. I had one deal that we won. There were 17 offers on it. We were number 5. Price, and we won the deal. And I asked him at the end, what made us win the deal? She said, well, proof of funds, letter from your bank, and you gave them flexibility as to when they could leave, just so long as it was within 90 days. That was a big one, right? But the third part of that was, this was a hoarding house. What is one thing I know about a hoarding house? They have tons of stuff. Because they had tons of stuff, what did I do? I said, here's the deal. As part of the deal, I will give them 2 dumpsters. 2 dumpsters. $650 a dumpster, $1,300. She's like, that was a big difference for them. Be smart, be creative, think out of the box, look at the situation, assess it, understand what they might want help with. If they're hoarders, they're not going to get out of there fast. If they're retirees, they're not going to get out of there fast. Don't make them feel the pressure of, oh, now we got to sell, now we got to get out. There's the other side of that. Oh, God, we've already bought some, we've already moved. F this place, we've already moved. You know what? I've bought places where I said, leave it as it is, I'll clean it out. It depends on the deal. What were the top 3 most important things to them? Understand that. What are the 3 most important things you'd like to get out of this transaction? Obviously, you want to sell the house. Obviously, you'd like as much as possible. I even try and take that off the table. The price. Yeah, obviously, you want as much as possible. So what would be the other things that you'd like to see? I will usually have looked up to see if they have a mortgage on the place. Try to understand that from the agent. I'm not the agent myself. I have my agent ask that. because we also open up the door for if they want to consider or at least even hear about seller financing. That's something I've started doing in the last year, I'd say, almost year. So yeah, hopefully that helps Hindman family. But yeah, that's what I would say. Crimson Knight. Everything's done on 67 Kachiko Street. What about the lead paint, the wood paneling, paint in the chipping side, lead hazard? Maybe I got the wrong house. Probably the wrong house. I don't know anything on Kachiko Street. Not me. And you can get $3,000 per side. Wow. Yep. Dover was much higher rents, or maybe I just underestimated Manchester rent. No, Dover's that much better than Manchester. Crimson Knight. It's the fastest growing city 4 years in a row. There's a ton of expensive, high tech, big money jobs here. The issue that Manchester has is that there aren't. If you want one of those great jobs, you're going to Mass or you're on the seacoast. If you're going to Mass, then you're going to live in Derry, Londonderry, Wyndham, Salem, Hudson, Pelham. You're going to live in all those places before you ever want to go to Manchester. So that's how that works, that piece of it. And see how well I know that 93 corridor. And on the coast, there's the Peace Trade Port, there's Lincoln Financial Group, there's Liberty Mutual, there's SIG Arms, which are all high-paying jobs, are mostly high-paying jobs. There's the airport, with pilots. There's all that stuff. So there's on the seacoast, it's an expensive place to live, and so people expect to pay more in rents. So yeah, I'll get $3,000 aside. I'll get $3,000 aside for that, just like I did the other ones that I rented out. I just rent out a 4. So that's a 5. That's 5.2. I just rented out a 4.1 for $2,750. So $250 premium for that. Yeah, we'll get that, no problem. And it's not to talk badly about Manchester, even though I still, again, not your fault. I just hate the city because of how difficult it was to do business there. I would have loved to have stayed because it was a big city, lots of opportunity. But yeah, those numbers won't be a problem. And yeah, Dover's it. The thing that's tough about Dover is getting in. That's a tough thing. There's probably a dozen guys like me that really know the market really, really well. They know it better than all those other brokers too. And they actually have deeper pockets than I do. Much deeper. Much deeper. I'm not sure what they're focused on right now. Don't know. But they could have absolutely bought those. I don't think they're as fast. I know 2 of the other brokers that were involved were their representatives, and I beat them. I just think that they took it on face value what those floor plans were worth. Yeah. That's my take. Chester Williams, curious how you're planning to do a giveaway for the books, maybe raffle or something like that. I haven't thought about that yet. Mike kind of sprung that on me yesterday. But yeah, so we will do something. Probably not today, probably next weekend is what we'll probably do it, because I have to think about exactly how we're going to do that. I didn't get a chance to talk to him about if he's drop shipping them, if he's already shipped them to me and I'm shipping them out. I don't know about any of that stuff. And so yeah, that's what happens when buddies help. So yeah, so I'm not really sure. But yeah, I'm going to find out. We will do something. We'll do something next week. I just want to have a plan in place because I don't want to promise anybody anything yet until I know exactly how it's going to work. But Chester, thankfully, you'll be here next weekend. All right. Matthew Paris. Adjunct on my primary residence has tile over tile in the shower. 100% chance there was some kind of a leak that was never fixed. Yes, exactly. Yep. And you never know when that's going to start coming down. And then guess what? Now your new tile job of your previous tile job, you're going to be doing another tile job. And now you have to go down to scratch anyway. Save yourself the time. Save yourself the money. Next. Julie Anderson. I love it. I want to see it. Shoot the floor. All right, Crimson Knight. You know what you're supposed to do? Shoot the floor. Shoot the floor. I'm interested to see what it looks like too. Just so you know, though, I'm not using that as my criteria for whether or not I'll use their flooring. I'm already using their flooring everywhere. I'm not worried about this. I'm not worried about the shooting of the floor. Yep. Let's see. Matthew Paris. Yep. Found the 2-layer tile during our inspections. Got us $2,500 off the price in the end. See? Perfect. Perfect. Crimson Knight. So on Hill, no lead removal of doors, or is it lead free? Rest makes sense to me. What I would do, you wouldn't put better cabinets in. Will you did on your flip? No. So believe it or not, it's already rented. Corporate. I have corporate tenants that looked at, saw it, wanted it. I'm not gonna. For them, timing's more important. So yeah, I probably won't do anything. There. I haven't tested the doors. Don't know. I haven't been on site. I wasn't even on site in that place. Don't know. I had my agent's assistant Zoom me. I've never even been inside the property. Didn't need to be. I asked her to photograph certain things for me. And so, yeah, I have no idea. No idea. If there's some lead stuff that we have to do there, yeah, it won't be, might be doors, but even 10 doors for me is $3,000. It's $300 a door installed. So even if I swap them out, it's going to only be about $3,000. It's not, so it's certainly never the reason to not buy a house, especially with what's going to be, that one's on, the other one was a 34% return. This one's going to be like a 28% return. Yeah. So if I'm over 20%, yeah, it's just, I figure that other kind of smaller stuff out kind of as we go. But these, I already reached out to one of my corporate renters that I have a relationship with. And I said, what do you think? And they said, yeah, we'll take it. I said, sure, both sides. Like, yeah, both sides. Cool. There's the price. Okay. So yeah, so we're good. Analytics Ariel. Hi, Matt. Oh, hey, Ariel. How are you? I'm going to get back to you. I'm so sorry. I've been so crazy busy. Ariel was so much fun to work with. We did a few videos together. And then I think she was away on business for a couple of weeks. And then everything happened for us with Eliana, and we haven't been able to reconnect since on me. That's 100% my fault. But in the 4-3-2-1 strategy, what's your thoughts on purchasing a vacation home in between to take advantage of 10% down payment and not have to owner occupy? Yeah. So if you can do that, sure. If you can get a 10%, if you can get a 10% loan, absolutely. So that does work. The only way that doesn't work is when they change the rules. So that's what ended up happening. That's what I'm trying to guard people from that happened in 07, 08, and 09 was they completely changed the rules. Fannie Freddie went from you could have 10 loans down to 4. What happens if that's the case? Then you know what then happens? If you want to buy another property, now you have to go commercial. If you have to go commercial, now all the rate structure changes. Commercial rate structure is completely different from residential. So you can absolutely do it. And then like short-term rental at Airbnb, it would be my guess. But yeah, that's the only challenge. That's the only challenge that you'll have there is if they change the rules of the game, and that's absolutely what happens. When the economy shifts, that's absolutely what happens is those rules of the game change for sure. 100%. So yeah, it works. The only difference there, I think the other difference too is you can get the 10% rate, but I don't know that you get the 10% rate on another vacation home, because I think that they only classify you as being able to have one vacation home. I don't think you can have 2 vacation homes. High wealth individuals can get away with that because they are in programs like Palladium for JP Morgan Chase, stuff like that. I am not part of that. I wish I were. I want to be someday, maybe when I grow up. Or if they're looking to fill lumberjack quota, I could qualify only because I'm a lumberjack. Landlord. So hopefully that answers your question. Thanks, Ariel. Crimson Knight 921. So how would you have a conversation with NH Housing for paying 18 months for my upstairs tenant in Manchester to get the most? Do I explain it's in a duplex 85%? No, they don't care. Features to get max rent and I will pay more for it. Nope, they don't care. So Crimson Knight, they don't care about any of that stuff. They care about one thing and one thing only, that tenant not getting evicted. That's it. That's all they care about. If she has qualified, hold on one second. I just said somebody disliked their own statement back to me. I don't know what that means. So Crimson Knight, that's not what they care about. Yeah, not what they care about at all. So I had a unit that we were going to use shorter term rental, not short term like Airbnb, but shorter term rental for some nurses, specifically for some nurses at the hospital. And but there was that lumpiness that I talked about in one of the live streams that I just don't love about it. I just don't love it. But I have a lot of stuff close to the hospital. And so I talked to the COVID program and I said, well, they're going to pay a premium for rent. It's a 2-bedroom. They're going to pay a premium for rent. But I suppose if you're guaranteeing it for 12 or 18 months, versus what I know that the hospital is going to do, they might pay a little bit more, but it's going to be shorter term and it won't be necessarily guaranteed past like 90 days or 120 days. So I said, you can have it for $2,500 a month. It's your option. You don't have to say yes. So I just told them, so with an existing tenant, I don't know how it works because none of it was with mine was existing tenants. It was units that I had available. You can give her, I don't know necessarily how you would do it. I wouldn't be talking about the perks or what the unit is. That doesn't matter to them. They don't care. They care about one thing and one thing only, and that is that a tenant staying in the unit and not being displaced. That's it. That's it. The conversation I had with unexisting tenant that had a lease in place, actually somebody else was month to month, and I just showed them this is what they're paying. That's going to have to increase because they haven't had a rent increase. They're okay with that for now, but we got that assistance. But that assistance, I think was only for 90 or 120 days. So yeah, it's a new rental. She can take a demand or an increase to rent. If you're going to increase the rent 20% or whatever it is, all of mine that I've done that, or majority of mine that I've done that with the COVID program, have been net new rentals that they need to be able to place people in. And I set the price, and if they want it, they take it, and if they don't, they don't. It's free market. So I've not talked about anything, perks, amenities, nothing. Here's the unit. This is what it is. They can go take a look. We just did one this week. So yeah. So yeah, none of that stuff as far as, single family neighborhood. They're not going to care about any of that stuff. David Greenlaw. Wow, you guys have a lot of questions today. I love this. This is awesome. Love it. David Greenlaw. Hey, Matt. Hey, David. How much insurance for rental properties? Replacement versus market value? How much liability? How much dwelling versus separate structures, etc.? Great topics for the three amigos as well. That would be a great topic. Mine is replacement value. And mine, so I don't know what to, I'm not recommending anything to you. This is what I've done. Replacement value. I have a high premium or a high deductible. I have a $20,000 deductible on my insurance because I use my insurance for what it's meant to be used for. Insurance. I don't want a total loss that I have to pay for, but if we have a $50,000 problem, I don't mind paying 20 grand towards that because it's, again, I'm playing the tables. I'm paying the actuarial tables. So thank God so far in 20 years, coming up on 3,000 tenant years, I've had, thankfully, we've been blessed to only have one loss over 25K. And the amount of money that I save annually on my insurance is probably So if I went from a $25,000 deductible or $20,000 deductible down to a $2,000 deductible, I would pay for my insurance all over again every 2 years. So yeah, I take the extra money and I put it away. And it's bought me more properties. I've literally bought more properties on the savings of my insurance. So that's the way I've done it. I use insurance for insurance purposes, which is to prevent a total loss or financial catastrophe. I do have an umbrella as well. I have a personal umbrella. It's like $3 million coverage. It was like $480, I think. So not bad. And then they're working on an umbrella, I think, for my other stuff. I'm not sure if they've done it already. They might have. Dawn, I figured as long as rates don't go over 6%, I will still be good on my new construction quads. We'll just have to crunch the time frame to complete. I have a 22 number Palm that thing. Oh yeah, 22 pound. Yeah, gotcha. 22-pound Pomeranian. I think he's a lab dog. Yeah, I had the same thing. We had a French bulldog, same exact. So totally get that for sure. Yeah, over 6%. Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, right, is if you can get a deal done with like a Velocity, a non-QM, you're probably locking in at less than 6% right now. And that to me is value, knowing what that number is. Yeah, I went to my bank and I shared with them, here's my option with a non-QM. Here's my option with another bank. Let me know what you guys can do. Do you want to keep my business or don't you? And they were great. They were responsive. They worked with me. I didn't get what I wanted, but they didn't get what they wanted either. But we met at a fair number that worked. And I'm happy to keep my business with them. It's a good relationship. I just didn't want to pay a massive premium to have that. Crimson Knight, features to get max rent and we'll pay them more if I pay utility. Nope, sorry, I already read that one. Pam Goodman, I heard Michael Z say yesterday on one of his units none of his units, have disposals, ice makers, sand. I don't know what sand is. Washer, dryer. I understand the rationale, but no dishwasher. Oh, yeah. So I don't, I totally get what he's doing. I don't do that. I think, like he said, he really talks about affordable housing. His goal really is kind of affordable housing. For me, we're kind of next tier up, I think, where we want nice, but we also want amenity. So we do not do garbage disposal. We do not do garbage disposals ever, because that can lead to plumbing problems big time. Washer and dryer, in the larger buildings, we have communal. In the smaller buildings, we try to put them in unit if there's a space for them. If there is, great. If there isn't, that's okay. That's the difference between one of our units versus another unit. Sure. And we will do dishwashers. Absolutely. Yep. That's more like, I believe amenities like that are more likely to get people to stay. So Mike believes that single family is more likely to get people to stay. I completely agree with him. But single families in my market don't make any money. And as fun as this is, I will not do it for free. So in the duplexes and triplexes and things like that we absolutely do washer and dryer. Mm-hmm. Or in the units that we can. In the dishwashers, absolutely. If we're doing a kitchen, there's always a dishwasher incorporated. If we're doing a kitchen. Yep, every time. Yeah, because we want those amenities. We want those amenities that make people never want to leave. And we know that what they're going to compare us to is we want higher rents. We want, and we want better product. So that's what So that's why we do that. So yeah, I agree. I understand his rationale. Get it for what he's looking at. Yeah, I think it's more his market that drives that. Yeah. Yep. And what he does. Jeremy Kirkwood, at Pam. Okay. So Jeremy Kirkwood was answering your question. I believe the rationale is that those amenities like dishwasher are not a given in Mike's area. Yep. 100%. That's exactly what I was saying. Exactly right. Well answered, Jeremy. Well done. Yep. That's true. Yep. Agreed. Eli Kohler, at Mike, my cash out refi appraised 8 to 10% under purchase price on investment property. It was fair, but probably lower due to some standard lender formula. Yep. Yep. That certainly can happen for sure. Certainly. Yep. Julie Anderson, you have to take the whole thing out. It's easy to mess it up and avoid the whole thing. Yeah, you got to take the whole thing out. I mean, for us, we just gut all the way to the studs. And then we have the plumber swap out the plumbing, check everything there. And then we put up the Hardy backer board ourselves, tape it. Then you can use the pink waterproofing yourself. And then your tile guy can come in and just do what he does best, which is tile. That's it. That's what we do. And it comes out killer. Comes out killer. Nisi Ellison. Hey, Nisi, I made it. Good afternoon. Yeah, great having you. Thanks for coming. The Ramirez real estate team. Hello, sir. If I didn't listen properly, once you mentioned you were looking for properties on the High Point, North Carolina market. If so, what do you like about this market? So I was looking at Greensboro. So we had family in the area, and they were looking to get into real estate. They had the time to travel, time to look, time to do all of those things, take Zoom videos, the whole 9 yards. And we're going to be there. Their lifelong dream or their life's mission was to stay there and be there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, excuse me 1 second. So that was why we were looking there. What I liked about High Point was, yes, it was cheap property, but everything else around it was expensive. And so I believe that would drive it up. The other thing too is if you look at, all right, I'm going to give you the world's greatest tip. The Ramirez team. If you're in that area, anybody else in that area, here's a world's greatest tip. That college was buying up a bunch of property around. They were buying up a ton of property. So I was doing everything that I could I was looking at everything I could to be as close to shopping centers and the college as possible. I think it's called High Point University. If I remember properly, this was a couple of years ago. But yeah. And I just recently checked some of the pricing. I was right. I was big time right. Any property I would have touched, I would have made $100,000 on. Idiot. Just kidding. They moved out of the area. Didn't make any sense anymore. So that was their goal, to stay there. Didn't happen. So then they left, and I would have been left with a portfolio in an area that I don't have any tie to at that point. But yeah, take a look at that. Take a look at High Point, North Carolina, Greensboro, Salem. I think Salem's around there too. And then there's a ton of colleges around there too. I did a lot of college housing when I first started up here in New Hampshire. I did a bunch of college housing, college students. I changed out of that a lot, stopped targeting students because of what was going on with the pandemic. And when I say targeting, it means just putting ads in different places than I used to, or even just, quite frankly, writing them differently. I would do like a rally cry. Hey, Wildcats. Wildcats is the name of the mascot there. I would do like, hey, Wildcats, come check out your new apartment. And then I'm a marketing machine. So put that stuff out there, and boom, I'd have 50 people that wanted to see it the first weekend, right? It was perfect. Now, we didn't discriminate. We let other people look at it, but guess how many people came to look at it knowing that college kids were coming to look at it? Almost none. Almost none. So yeah, High Point, I would have crushed it there. Made a ton of money. That market did really, really, really well. I mean, there were buildings. I think I had 3 buildings that we were going to do a deal on. They were all foreclosed. I think we were buying all 3 of them for less than $100,000. And they needed work, but we were buying all 3 of them for less than $100,000. I was literally doing the numbers to get my team to go down there and literally just work for a month and just make sure kind of everything was, ready to then do some of the finished stuff. So yeah, we had a big plan. It just didn't come together. Yeah. Yes. Let's see. Sorry. Julie Anderson, I don't trust PEX. I do. I do have a ton of it in my properties. I've never had a PEX. I've never had a problem with a PEX line burst. Far more resilient than copper. The only thing that I've ever had happen was the collar. The collar that was put on, what it was put onto. They should have just cut further back on the line where they connected the PEX to it. So other than that, everything else that I do touch is PEX. I don't want. We will use. So a lot of times we'll repair copper. I'm very excited. We're going to get a new tool. It is a very expensive tool. It's about a $2,500 tool, and basically they make these sections of pipe, and they have ridges on them, and they have a rubber grommet on the inside. It's basically like a shark bite on steroids. But that's what a lot of plumbers are using now. So they also make elbows for them and straight couplings. And so if I were going in and doing anything like that, like a repair to anything like that, I would use that crimping tool. For me, I'm going to use my crimping tool on my stuff, but and I don't know that you can rent that tool from Home Depot. I don't think you can. But that's the other option. Is a lot of times plumbers will attach PEX to copper because PEX eliminates elbows, so it also increases flow. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is that special crimping tool. Milwaukee makes one. That's the one. We're Milwaukee tool guys. We love Milwaukee. Never had a battery die on us. I mean, like run down, yes, but not be kaput, not used anymore. Never had that happen. Had that happen with every other brand. So Milwaukee's been really good to us. Yeah, so that special crimping tool, it's awesome. They have a special cutting tool. Then they have a special crimping tool. The cutting tool, you put the battery in, you put it on the pipe, you press the button, it goes around it, cuts it. And then you just wherever else you need to cut it. And then you can literally slide one of these couplings on. You slide the coupling up this high and then brought back down. Then you've got your rubber grommet. There's basically the rubber, the higher circles on there. Then you put the crimper on there. You put that on here, put that on here. Make sure you had enough good pipes still left in there. But you put those on the two ends. I've never had one of those go bad. Never. But that's how a lot of people are doing it. That's a more expensive way because the tool is $2,500. And each one of those elbows or couplings is probably like $7 to $9. Better than a shark bite, but obviously shark bites you can do by just cutting the line. I've had shark bites go bad. I've had shark bites, start leaking or become a problem. I've had that happen. Yeah, for sure. Indeed. Eli Kolner, literally how I won my deal was the seller didn't like his cash buyer, didn't want to do business with them, and decided it was worth it to take a small hit on profit on the sale. Smart. Some people really don't need the money and definitely don't need the trouble of working with jerks. See, exactly. You weren't the high offer. You understand the circumstances and you put the deal together. That's it. Understand what the seller wants. Understand what they want. Understand what they're looking for. Crimson Knight, I will film and take pictures and maybe post it on One Rental at a Time Facebook group. Cool. If it stops the bullets, I will call Marty and tell him he can advertise his bulletproof flooring. Nice. So what features have tenants pointed out to you that have made them stay? You just mentioned dishwashers. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah. I also include washer and dryers, but that's also partly because after house hacking, I don't want to move them. Yeah. Ain't that the truth? So it was really interesting listening to Mike's list. Yeah, it's definitely interesting listening to Mike's list. So he does kitchens and granite countertops. So yeah, granite countertops. I've done fixtures. I've done light fixtures. I think that, and hopefully this doesn't offend anybody, but the boob lights from Home Depot, I hate those. Don't use them ever. Never, ever, 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 ever. So what I will do is that they make really nice 12-watt LED that have like a stainless steel circle on the top and then like another inch down, like another stainless steel circle. So it's also more flush to the ceiling. I've used those a lot. Now the difference is that the Home Depot, boob lights are, 12 to 14 bucks a piece. Those lights that I just called out, you have to watch for them to go on special, but they do, and they go down to like 35 bucks. So they're 3 times the price. But what am I looking at? I'm not looking at that much more money to put those in. The thing that we do the most often is pancake lights. Pancake lights, 5,000 lumen, which is natural light, right? So the way that your eyes work is your eyes get tired if it's like a fluorescent. But the thing that's the most natural to sunlight is the 5,000 lumen light. There's a bunch of companies that make them, but make sure it's the 5,000 lumen light and it's the bright white. Because you can always put them on. That you can get the ones that work with a dimmer, but they are, I buy them literally by the case of 48. That's how many I buy at a time. 48 at a time. Actually, that's not true. I usually buy multiple cases of 48 at a time. The reason why is because it's a normal 6-inch hole saw. That the electrician can just stick right in the ceiling. You can give them a light outlay, and then they just connect them to each other. It's just that simple. And they're LED lights. So they are drastic savers on the electricity. So I found if you can do things that keep the bills low for tenants, they like staying, they like looking at those numbers, because when they go to look at any other place, the thing that you literally tell them is, take a look at, hold on a second. I don't know what that is. Sorry, I watched the chat just to make sure people aren't being nefarious. So yeah. But yeah, so lights do make a difference. I think lights make a difference. I know that when you walk in and it's got that crappy little light that's a turn on twist on the corner, or if it's just got another boob light coming in at you, I hate those things. So maybe that's just me, but yeah, I thought it was interesting listening to Mike's list because we're just a little bit different. For me to go through an entire house and change out those light fixtures, I get them for usually we'll call it a high of $8 a piece, right? It's $8 a piece. In an entire house, you can completely change the look of the house, completely make it a beautiful spot with doing maybe 20 of those. So it's $160 in material. It's going to be probably a day for an electrician. I have weekend warriors that will work for, $50, $75 an hour. So I'm looking at a day rate. So for $600, I just did my entire place brand new lighting setups. Brand new, and it looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. There's no weird shadows. It looks beautiful. So for us, it's, certainly it's, cabinets and countertops. We looked all around the area trying to find a great vendor that had different countertops than everybody else, because in most of your areas, what you'll find is there's something called a granite exchange, where it's a massive, massive wholesaler that brings in granite from all over the place, and everybody can go buy the same stuff. Everybody buys exactly the same stuff. That's a problem, because we can have something that's a little bit different. So we used a non-polished, what's called a leathered or non-polished granite that we use that makes us different than everybody else. And it's a beautiful, beautiful stone. If you look at the video that I did with Awesome Lumberjack Project, or I think it was called that, you can look and see exactly the type of countertops that we put into our rentals. I put the same ones in my house. It's a beautiful countertop. It's unique. It's different. I don't like the polished look. I like the more leathered look. Looks beautiful. It's amazing. And so, yeah, they're absolutely fantastic. I swear by them, but we had to find the vendor that bought that product directly from Brazil and had it shipped up in shipping containers. And then when they would get a shipment in, we'd buy 5 slabs that were all kind of closer to each other, because it varies in color. We would actually have them take pictures of 10 or 15 slabs, send us the pictures. We would pick the 5 slabs from that. And then we would work that list down until those slabs were gone. And then we would buy another 5. Or they would alert us and say, hey, listen, we're almost out of this stuff. Do you want to buy the last couple of slabs we have? I would say, yep, send me the pictures. And if they were good, if they were the right color mix, we would just get those. The rules to granite are if it's speckled and dotted, that it is less expensive. If it has a significant pattern to it, what you're more looking for is flow. You're looking for flow of stone. That's more what you're looking for. If you look at the more expensive stuff, it's the flows. That's the most expensive stuff versus like the cheap stuff, like uh, the Saint Celia or Ubatuba or that stuff. That's the cheaper granite that you'll find, and it's because it's more speckled. It's a much more common stone. So we look for stuff that has more ornate flows to it and kind of just more natural beauty. So yeah. So let's see. Other than that, so we will do lighting fixtures. Sink fixtures, we will almost always pick a one hole sink, a one hole faucet. And a lot of times we'll use a nice brand like a Kohler. So that faucet costs me twice as much as a lot of the other faucets out there, but it will last 4 times as long. Yep. 4 times, 4x. So yeah, we'll use that stuff a lot of the time. Sorry, just have to adjust. So yeah, we'll use that stuff a lot of the time. Yep. HT 12805. My pecs rattles and not sure where to go on the wall to fix it. Ugh, yeah, that's annoying. Yeah. Yeah, that is annoying. We had that a couple times. Open up the wall, put a fastener on it, and went away. So it's possible to get rid of the noise for sure. Eli Colner, are we specking the Lambo together here on channel live stream? I guess we kind of, how do we do that? I am totally open to that. The only thing that would change it is I'm not buying new, number one. And number two, I'm going for value. Like you expected any different from me? So the reason why I'm going for value is this. Generally speaking, there is what I want. Oh, hold on one second. Sorry, guys. What? That's interesting. Well, I had a wholesaler just send me a deal. It looks pretty freaking awesome. Give me 1 second, guys. Oh, interesting. Well, we will certainly take a look at that. Anyway, sorry, guys. But as you can tell, I'm doing the work. So specking the car. The only reason that we probably won't do that is because I'm going to look for value. I'm going to find something used. I've got a couple of brokers that are looking for it because I've got the house. We haven't closed on the house yet. That is a off market, super top secret deal. So I hopefully will be sharing that with you guys in the next couple of weeks. Once we close, I'll cover the ridiculous numbers with you, but that's going to buy me my Lambo. And so when we do that, I basically they're looking for me now. So I don't think we'll be speccing it only because I'm not buying brand new and I am not. It's all going to be about value. I put almost no mileage on my cars as it is. And so for me, I don't mind going with something that's significant, like I will tell you that like a 42,000 mile Lamborghini, they're kind of rare because that means somebody drove it and did the work and did the service and the maintenance and all that stuff. And that's what's important. But you can get that car for the model that I want, probably like a $200,000 car. That same car with 6,000 miles on it is a $300,000 car. So the 30,000 mile difference, 34,000 mile difference, 36,000 mile difference for $100,000, $3,000, basically $3 a mile, probably not worth it to me. I'd rather spend the lower amount, get something with a little bit higher mileage because I won't add that much more onto it. But then my exposure isn't really there. But it really comes down to the payment. And I just need to make sure that the car is I still want to make, I'm not sure if I can do this. The idea is to have the payment or the profit from the multifamily that I'm doing, the profit from that to pay the payment for the insurance and the car payment on the Lamborghini. The only question is did I hit it far enough out of the park where I can get insurance, Lambo, and still make 10% on my money? I'm getting greedy. I know I'm getting greedy, but I think that there's a shot I can do that. So I'm going to try. We're going to see. But yeah, we'll have details on that probably right around Christmas time. Right around Christmas time, because we should be closed that week of Christmas. So I will keep you guys in the loop. Chris Allen, since you try to keep the utilities low for the tenants, have you ever converted to on-demand water heaters? Yes. I've done 27 of them. Chris Allen, I've done 27 of them. And I do them not only for forced hot water, but I also do it for the heat. So I'll use a combi boiler. My favorite brand, you guys hear me say it almost every week. We've just installed another one. We're going to be installing another one. We love this product. It's IBC. IBC is the brand. Stuff is gorgeous. Oh, it's beautiful. And it runs so freaking well. Like, I think this is a Canadian company. My salute to you, Canada. You guys crushed it with this brand. Like, crushed it. So love it. And these combi boilers are spectacular. They absolutely knock down. So we had one building last year that with the old oil system, the heat was about 2,200 with the old steam system. It's about $2,200 in oil last year. Or 2 years ago, because we changed it last year. And it's not an apples to apples, but last year after putting in that heating system, and we didn't pay it, we asked them we saw what the bills were because we always ask for copies so we can give prospective tenants the number if they asked for it. We saw that it was 11. It was like half. It was like $1,000 or $1,100. 95% efficiency. Yeah, worth its weight in gold. 1,000%. So much better of a process. Way better. Eliminated. So the cost for oil and for what we were able to tabulate the. How do we do that? There was some way that we came up with it because the water heater was on electricity. So it was electric water heater, oil furnace, hot, one pipe steam. Went to this thing and it was like half the price. Now, that cost me $14,000 to install, but the old system was getting long in the tooth. I was going to replace it with something else. The replacement with something else was still going to cost me $9,000. So I paid a $5,000 premium, but now I have on-demand hot water. And guess how often those tenants leave when I put those things in there? They never leave. I just had my very first tenant, very first one, leave that we'd installed one of those. I'm waiting for him to send me something back saying, holy cow, I can't believe how expensive natural gas is right now. Because he didn't see it with our hot water system. He didn't see it. It was such a good deal. Yeah, very good. Crimson Knight, how much does that leathered granite cost? Trying to figure out if it's worth it for my Manchester property, looking at about $600 for butcher block materials only and 30 for the polyurethane. Yeah, so you can expect about $40 a square foot. Crimson Knight. Also the poly that goes in the butcher block, latex or oil bead poly. I've seen we've used the regular poly, but we've also used so you seal it, then you poly it. We've also used like a resin. Yeah, so we've also used for a resin as well. But yeah, fantasy brown, leathered granite, or honed or unpolished. Companies call them all different things because usually they don't carry it. But yeah, great product. Great product. Love it. It's beautiful. Look at my video, Amazing Lumberjack Flip or Amazing Lumberjack Project. Look at that video. That's what they look like. I installed those in my home that I redid at that time. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. And they're unreal. Unreal. Crimson, yeah. So link to the leather granite, please. So yeah, let me see if I can find it. Give me 1 second. 16, $70 a square foot installed is what they say on here. I've never paid that much. Let me see if I can find something, guys. Honed is what, yeah. So make sure you're finding honed. So I will send you a link of what it looks like. Hold on 1 second. As soon as I figure out how to. I think I can send this to myself and then put it in the live stream. Can I? Yeah, maybe. Let's try it. Let's try and get funky with some technology, everybody. All right, let's see if this works. If I blow everything up, it was. Whose fault was it? HTO's. All right, give me just 1 second here. Here we go. Oh, I think this is going to work. Oh, it worked. Love it. There you go. That's what it looks like. And make sure you don't get the polished one. You want to look for the honed one. Yeah. Yep. That one's awesome. But you can get that stone with more brown, more white, more gray. Make sure you look at the pictures of the slabs because the slabs vary greatly with that product. And again, make sure you're not doing polished. Yep. Make sure you're not getting polished. You don't want polished. The stone doesn't look as good polished. I know, I've done it. They literally fabricated, sent it to me on site. They installed it, and I called them when I saw it that night, and I said, "Why am I getting polished fantasy brown now?" They're like, "Well, yeah, that's what you asked for." No, it's actually not. Why would you deviate from the other 17 kitchens I've done like this? They said, "Yep, it was a mistake on our side." I agree. I know it was a mistake on your side. They came back and they gave it to me for cost because I wanted to just have them rip it out, but didn't. Let's see. Yes. So there's the link to the granite. Eli Colner, LOL, plus 10%. Get it? Yeah, I'm trying, man. I'm gonna. I got to see what I got to do. Got to see what I got to do. Dion Talk Financial Freedom. What are your tenant screening criteria? Why did you choose those? Dion. Big question. Big question. So tenant screening criteria is 680 credit or better. 680 credit or better. Income, net income, no greater than 30% of the rent. Net income, no greater than 30%. Trying to think what else other than the normal stuff. Job reference, talking to their job. Yep. And rental, the last 3 months, proof of the last 3 months that they paid their landlord. Proof. Yep. We pay cash. Nope. Sorry. Nope. No way. No way, Hosey. So yeah, those are the big ones. Why those? Because I trust the credit card companies. I trust the credit company's algorithm for giving me somebody that's around 680. I trust that. That means that they may have had a late payment in the past, but they consistently pay their bills on time, right? And that they don't carry too much debt. So they won't, even if they get into a pinch, they still likely will be able to pay. Job, I want to know that they've been there for a while. And if they haven't been there for a while, that, is this a temporary position? Landlord, paying their landlord the last 3 months rent, because a lot of people got constructively evicted. Okay, fine. We won't evict you. We won't put it on your record that we're not going to evict you, but we want you to leave the house by this date. And a lot of people will leave the house by that date. They weren't evicted. There's no record of it. Even if there was, it takes some time to get that to be the record. There were people that we went through that process with that we purposely, for their future landlords, we purposely finished the eviction because we didn't want somebody else to get stuck. Yeah. So that's why those. So yeah, that's job. Landlord references, like personal references, everyone will give you a good personal reference, like your buddy can. Landlord references, we've had like the last 3 times we got those, it was the landlord completely flat out lied. They wanted to get rid of the tenant, and landlords have no problem. For some reason, I was always honest. Landlords have had no problem lying. Yep, they've had no problem lying and saying somebody was a great tenant when they were garbage, when they were in the middle of constructively evicting them. We've literally had that happen. So that's why I selected the criteria that I did. The last 3 payments to the landlord right now are the most important. Because if I know that you paid the last 3 months, then we're okay. Then we're good. Yep. If I don't know if you paid the last 3 months, or you say you did just via cash. I don't believe you. Wouldn't believe you if you tell me came notarized. Nope, wouldn't do it. So thanks, Dion. Good question. Dawn, do you have a rep at IBC? They never got back to me. I don't, but I have my rep who is the broker for IBC. Dawn, let me because you would probably buy 16 of these, right? 4 units. Or are you going to do 1 unit per building? You can make those depending on how big the buildings are. They do make one that's a 200,000 BTU combi boiler. It's pretty nice. But then you're limited in never being able to do anything more with the building. You'll save on the front side, but it'll reduce your appreciation on the back side. So not sure what your thoughts are there. Chris Webb checking in from Central Virginia. Thanks for the live stream. You're very welcome, Chris. Excited to have you here. Thanks for becoming a regular. Appreciate that. Crimsonite. So at what point would propane conversion not be worth it? Not sure where the tanks would go. If underground, that sounds like money. Yep. Well, they dig it up and they put the thing in the ground. If my ROI ends up being more on a system 2000 boiler versus IBC, do you think I should just go with oil in a system in a 2000 system? By the way, my home inspector agrees with you. He thinks IBCs are the best. I just don't. What Crimson Knight's bringing up is a very good point. Okay, he is trying to look at all the mathematics, all the numbers on the deal to see what is the best. Right? Here's the issue for me. What's the best is no maintenance, super low maintenance, a fast repair, and keeping the costs lower for the tenant. I will spend that premium. Because I'm looking to buy and hold this property over a length of time. IBCs, I get it. The numbers scare you 100%. The numbers scare you. I completely get it. Yep, get it. The numbers are much higher for an IBC over everything else. But I believe in this particular case, you are paying for quality and for being able to keep a good tenant that you want to keep where the costs are low. You can continue to increase rent because their costs can remain low for heating. It will blow their mind what they pay for heating in the next year. It will blow their mind. Yeah. So for me, I have the option on almost all these deals to go with a propane system, to go with a oil system, and then an oil, forced hot water system. I will not pick that ever. I won't pick it. I want that IBC product in there because for me, I've done 27 of them. I love them. They've not let me down yet. The dealers that service them carry around an IBC box that has all 6 parts. It's 6 modules to the inside of those systems. 6. Any part of those 6 can be taken out, a new one put in, and you are back up and running. Do you want to ever have to run out to your properties? I have other properties that I don't have IBCs in. You know what I have to do when there's an oil problem? I have to go fill it. That sucks. I have to then bleed the system, get them back up and going. Worse yet, I can't get somebody there, emergency, and I spend $100,000 a year with plumbers at least, and I still can't get somebody there, or emergency service. And even the emergency service is like, we're not going to get there tonight, right? Because there's that much of a shortage. A lot of those systems in the last few years have not been getting taken care of and not been being serviced. So now what's that translating to? It's translating to higher faults, higher number of issues in the field. Some of the parts for some of those systems, 2 weeks. 2 weeks for some of those common parts on some of those systems. I can't wait that long. I can literally buy an IBC and have it sitting there and just take parts off of it if I want to. Can't do that with a bunch of oil boilers. But again, you find somebody that's servicing that IBC. If they're making IBCs, they're making the parts that they replace. And they give you the dealer kit. It's just that simple. So for me, it remains IBC. Yep, remains IBC for me. Sorry, here we go. Yeah, so for me, it's still IBC. So even if I got to spend a few $1,000 more, it's an IBC because I look at that. I look at that system. How long was the last system in there? 25 years, 30 years? Like most of the time when I'm replacing a system, it's between 20 and 30 years old. If I can get 20 or 30 years out of that thing, spread that $4,000 difference over a 20-year period, it's a few $100. And how much money did I save the tenant? How much longer did they stay? How many turns did I save myself? Yeah. I just look at all of the economics surrounding that decision. And we're in New England where heat is that important. To me, that's like the thing, right? That's the thing for me. So I want to give the best experience I can from a heat perspective and not be jumping out in the field when I'm freezing my ass off. Because that sucks. I did do one last night. Thank God it was mild. But I did one last night. They ran out of oil. Guess how many oil houses were open? 0. Oh, but we'll deliver an emergency 100 gallons for a $100 emergency charge, a $115 restart charge, and no, you can't restart it yourself. We have to do it. So they're basically getting me for $215, and they're only going to give me 100 gallons. They're not going to fill the tank at $275. No, screw that. Nope. No thanks. No, thank you. And the other thing too is that the frequency in which if you just have normal deliveries via propane that are then going to service an IBC, if you have just normal deliveries in a propane, you're never going to run out because they're that efficient. They'll actually start to get pissed and be like, we're showing up. We're only delivering 35 gallons or 45 gallons. Yeah, you're out. And then they might stretch it a little bit, but they might stretch it to instead of every 4 weeks, every 6 weeks, but you're still never going to run out. That's a big thing. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Chris Webb, excellent question on oil. For the first time ever, we had to get oil at our new place. Holy cow. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of oil. Just not it. So with an IBC, with our natural gas stuff, we clean them every 2 to 3 years. Our oil is every year. Every single year we have to clean our oil stuff. And that's $175 service. So again, do a little bit of math, 5 years. I'm $1,750. 3 times I'm cleaning the gas one at $175. I'm $525. I'm less than $600. Look at the investment over time. I just believe that a natural gas or propane based system is going to be better. It's going to run cleaner. It's going to be far more efficient. I mean, these boilers, these are 95% AFUEs. 95% AFUE boilers. On some of the best oil ones I've seen are in the 80s. Or you can go really expensive, and I think you can get into the 90s, but that's a really expensive system. And then at that point, you're talking with IBC, and that's not on-demand hot water. I get on-demand hot water with mine. Way, 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 way better. On-demand hot water, I'll take it. On-demand hot water, forced hot water. I use that IBC combi boiler, and I love, love, love it. It's been amazing to me. Big salute to the Canadians that make that product. I have been ecstatic with that product. Yeah. Eli Kolner, all utilities included. Bad idea? Sometimes. I look at, so there's special thermostats out there that go to 71 degrees only, or 72 degrees only for the wintertime. And for the summertime, I think the lowest they go is like for air conditioning. If you have AC, I think they go to 75. Most of our places being in New England don't have AC built in because AC is not, ACs are window ACs. They're not usually as important. And so we're doing, and we're usually using the combi boilers. So you can, when I put a combi boiler in, I like to include it. I usually can actually, based on the premium that we charge for including it, I usually can make money. It becomes an area that I actually make money on the unit, believe it or not. Crazy but true. So yeah, I would just look at the numbers for the last year on the property. And when you look at the numbers for the last year on the property, I would assume like a 20% increase We'll look at whatever it was last year. It's going to be 20 or 25% higher this year. And then that's probably going to get you ballpark of where you're going to be. And then just spread it out over the course of the year. That's what I would do. Yep, for sure. HT012805. Thank you. You're welcome. That was for the link. I'm sure that we posted there for the Fantasy Brown. You're very welcome. If any of this stuff is valuable to you guys, please feel free to hit the like button. We love to get those likes because that's how the YouTube algorithm lets us know that this is better than a crash video. I know the content's better than a crash video. It just doesn't get many views because my videos, people are doing work. Those videos, people are just looking to get their ears tickled. Anywho, Matt Herbert, how will you know when you've reached FI? And when you do, how will your strategies changed? So I have reached FI. Yeah, financial independence. I do whatever I want. I still keep my W-2 job because I do. Yeah, I like it. But I won't like it forever. So yeah, financial independence, I have it. I can do whatever I want. Largely speaking. I only look at price tags from the perspective of the budget on the project, respecting the project costs. For ourselves, for our personal family, we don't spend a whole lot of money. We're just natural. We're not spenders. So when something comes up that my wife says, oh, we should do this, or oh, I want that, or something like that, whatever, fine. No problem. Write the check. All good. So we have financial independence. So my strategies, how they've changed. The strategy hasn't as much changed as it is. It's just much less stressful. It's much less stressful. These two properties that I bought this week, I couldn't imagine putting two properties under within 3 days of each other 5 years ago. Now I did. I put this is my 12th deal this year that I put under, and I've sold 3. So I sold 3. I put 12 under. We won't close on these 2 until 2022, but that means that I've already got, $1 million in purchases in 2022 that we just haven't realized yet. So yeah, I don't know that life has changed a whole lot more for us. I like working hard. I like spending time with my kids and my wife. Life is a little bit different with my daughter going through chemo. So I'm more available to her. I think that's, so the one thing that has changed now that I'm kind of talking through it, the one thing that has changed is, I do less in the properties. I do less. I do more, GC, management of the project than I do the actual work. So that's one of the things that's changed. Before Eliana got diagnosed in September, pretty much on a weekend basis, I was out in the properties every weekend, or every Saturday. Sunday was really family day. Every Saturday was kind of drive around, check it out. But I would take the kids sometimes if it was a small project. I've got a 4-year-old Samuel who I would take. So he's been in the field since he was about 3 weeks old, 3 months old, sorry. Because Ashley was a nurse. And so when she would go to work, she worked every other weekend. I had my son and I had to still go fix stuff. So I would put him in the little baby and I would fix stuff in front of me, like this. Actually, I'll use one hand because 2 looks like something else. But fix stuff with him attached to me. Before COVID. So I'd have somebody hold him, a tenant would hold him. Some of my tenants I would let hold them. So yeah, all sorts of fun stuff like that. So the biggest thing that changed with financial independence is the stress level. I do fewer things that I don't want to do because I can hire them out. And yeah, to grow the business, you have to multiply yourself. And so I mentor the guys that we work with of what I'm looking for, what the goal is, what I'm trying to get. That way they understand, not just follow what I'm saying, but why I'm saying what I'm saying, kind of casting a vision for them. So, yeah. And that's what makes them good contractors for us moving forward. I believe that we make our contractors better for other people too, because I know many of them have taken ideas that we've given them. But yeah, for sure. Yep. So yeah, hopefully that answers the question, Matt. And let me know if it doesn't. I'll answer more in depth. Price and pride. Sounds like my work. My boss gives glowing referrals to prospective employers when they want to get rid of a bad employee. That's not nice. It's funny as anything though, but that's not nice. But yeah, yeah. So I don't trust those landlord references a lot of times because if they were coming from one of you guys or it was a landlord that I knew, yeah, okay, I'll trust it. But if it's coming from a landlord that I don't know from Adam, nah, I don't trust it at all. That guy wants to get rid of his problem more often than not. Dawn, do you ask for the previous two landlords to get the true picture? Yeah, but I've gotten two friends called. I do. So I do. I asked for that, and I got basically what I found out later was going to be two buddies, or one was a landlord and one wasn't. So yeah, it's just I think that's the easiest thing to lie about. It's just too easy to lie, and there's no real hard way to manage that. So it didn't work out very well. Chris Allen, forgot to say good morning previously. Good morning. With a tenant that is getting 100% subsidy from Section 8, would you lower your criteria? I would. Yep, I would. I have. The only thing that I would do is I want to talk to their reference. That I want to know because that landlord had to register with Section 8. So now I know that guy's real. I know beyond the shadow of a doubt he's real because they have all of his contact information. So I want to talk to that previous landlord because that guy is verified. I know he's real. I know that I've checked the deeds before to make sure the guy owned the property. But people can just say it's this person, right? That's the landlord's name, and then give a different phone number. It's tough to track down name and phone number precisely, right? And know that maybe one's an office and they might have a cell phone that's not listed. Like it's really hard to do that. I suppose you could start going through the questions of when you acquire the property because he's not going to know stuff like that. But quite frankly, I have so many properties, I couldn't tell you exactly when I acquired a property. I couldn't tell you exactly how long all of my 180 tenants have lived with me. I can give you a guesstimate. Yeah, 2 years, maybe 3 years, maybe 4. But I couldn't say, yeah, they moved in August of 17. Couldn't tell you that. Too big. So yeah, so that's a great point, Tom. But yeah, it's not worked out for me in any way, shape, or form. On the Section 8, Chris Allen, yeah, I would. If I can talk to their landlord and know that they respected the place, know that they left the place nice. Yeah, I definitely would. Yep. Because that's the reason. If their money's being guaranteed, I just need to know they're going to respect the place and that they're going to be a good tenant, good to the landlord and good to their neighbors. And at that point, that guy has nothing to lose, right? He has nothing to lose. He's not getting rid of that tenant. He's getting rid of him for some reason. Let's know why. So yeah, from Section 8, yep, because that's all verified, and their stuff is to the point of perjury. Mine isn't. Brandon Bernola. Brandon, I've not seen your name up here. Thanks for. Oh, I'm new. See, I'm new here. Glad I can remember you guys. Learned about you from Dion. Very cool. I know he doesn't use the BRRR method, but have you used it before? Yes, I have. Yeah, I was doing BRRR before it was a thing. So I was buying my first few properties. I don't buy anything turnkey. Everything that I buy, not everything, almost everything that I buy knowing that I'm going to do some work to get more money out of rent. Yep, almost everything. So in the mid 2000s, like even early 2000s, 03, 04, stuff I bought knowing that I was going to rehab it and then get that much more rent. So yes, I've done that. The biggest concern that I have with the BRRR method now is not the buy. You have to buy it right for sure. Not the rehab. You have to rehab it right and do the right stuff with the right contractors that don't screw you. Rent tenants, you can actually look at my channel. I got a video on there that I did, which is kind of the eviction moratorium handbook for renting. Look at the renter side and look at the landlord side. There's 2 videos. It's a white colored thumbnail. But look at the one for landlords and the one for tenants. Look at both of them. But that will help you out a ton. Hold on one second. Tenant thing. Sorry, guys. It's always nice when the tenant gets back to you and lets you know that the fix that you did worked. Because you're like, hey, keep me posted. I saw her name and I was like, oh, crap, it didn't work. Nope, it worked. Want to let you know that we're all set. I had the heat on this morning and didn't see any issue. Perfect. I love it. That's what we were going for. So like I was saying, so you have to watch what you're doing on the buy side. Make sure you have your buy principles down, your buy box, like what Mike Zuber talks about and Dion and I talk about. But Mike Zuber's kind of concept of the buy box. Rehab, contractors, materials that you're picking, making sure not to be too ambitious in what you're taking on for projects. Rent, tenant screening. Watch the 2 videos on my channel. Dion has some on his channel as well. But watch those rental screenings videos. And then refi. Refi is the biggest risk, believe it or not. All those other things are a risk. Refi right now is the biggest risk. Because by the time you're done all of that, rates could be higher, market could have slowed. So brrrs right now for me are something that, as experienced as I am, brrrs are something I'm staying away from. I will buy a property, do some rehab, rent it out for a higher number, but then not go back for the refi. So I have to like the deal that I had and put cash into it as well, right? So great question, Brandon. Great question. Matthew Parrish, he's back. All right, good. We can continue, guys. All right, roll tape again. Just kidding. Crimson Knight, System 2000 is the oil version of IBC. Amazing boiler, but at the end of the day, it is oil, not quite as good as the IBC. Both cost same money to install. Just the cost of propane conversion that might be scary. Yeah, I'm still IBC. And so if it's version of IBC, amazing boiler. Yeah, version of IBC and IBC, I think, are 2 different things. So if they are, I'm still just an IBC brand guy. 27, never, ever, ever have I been without heat for a day. I just can't argue the numbers. And again, IBC pays me nothing. They sponsor me nothing, but literally 27 units in the field, not one day lost. I can't. That's the life that I'm looking for as a landlord. I want no maintenance, and if I can't get no, I want low. And if I can't get low and there's an issue, then I need fast repair. I need rapid. So it's no, low, and then rapid. And they've met all of those criteria. You know, we've had a fail, but because they have their dealers that service their stuff and they have a complete kit, it was a part swap. Boom, upgoing same day. Loved it. Matthew Paris, where do you find travel nurses and corporate rental partners? So great question. I call. Yeah, no joke. So I've called the hospital. I asked for their HR department, ask who handles contract nurses, and you can find that person's name. And I don't rent to the hospital as much as I will ask them who are the vendors that you use, and then I contact those vendors. That's number 1. And you're welcome. And number 2 is corporate. I look at the companies around here that would more likely use something called an H-1B visa. I know. I just blew people's minds. Thank God this isn't a live meeting and it's not all over me. Because, yeah, H-1B visas. Who are the companies that use H-1B visas? Large cleaning companies, large landscaping companies. Who else use a lot of H-1Bs? Large service companies, not skilled service, not like plumbers and electricians, but large, service type of stuff, other type of stuff, maybe moving, maybe things like that. And so the reason that I do that is those H-1B visas, part of the contract to an H-1B visa is that they have to provide housing. Yeah, they have to provide housing. So because they have to provide housing, they need to find them nice housing. They also have to find them housing not only that's nice and obviously, in decent shape, livable, all those things, The other thing that they have to do is they have to basically pay the cost of that, and then the employee gets debited that cost out of their paycheck, right? But those folks don't mind, and it's usually from um, Puerto Rico doesn't need to do those anymore because that's a U.S. territory. Guatemala, Ecuador, Brazil. We get a lot of some Mexico. We get a lot of that. We get a lot of those, or we don't get a lot of those, but we do get those workers in those industries. Those companies look for high density housing because they don't want a bunch of people driving. They have like a team lead. Sign companies, contractors, government contractors. Yep, government contractors is a good one. Yep, yep. Sign companies, I've not seen that around here, but it's because they're smaller. That might be in your area. Yep. Yep. Visa's another golden nugget. Yep. 100%. You guys can crush it there. So they want to keep, because they're laborers, right? Because they're making 18, 20, 22 bucks an hour. They don't want to soak them. They don't provide them cars. One guy on that team has a license. One. Maybe two. But then you've got 10 guys that don't have licenses. And they don't want to have them dispersed all over the city in a bunch of 2 bedrooms, right? So what they do is they get these 4 and 5 bedrooms from me that are good for either H-1B visa folks or good for what's the other one? Sorry, I just saw Angel's note. Sorry, Angel. I'll get to yours shortly. I just saw something pop up that you're having an issue, so I want to handle it or answer it for you. Yeah, so they want that density. And so they tell them, listen, we can save you money if you basically are 2 to a bedroom. So they'll do bunk beds where the company will actually buy bunk beds, install them, put them in, and get mattresses in the whole 9 yards. They'll put those in there. Then you've got 2 people to per of those bedrooms. So in a 4-bedroom, you've got 8. In a 5-bedroom, you got 10. Now, water, sewer, crazy expensive. Guess what I do? I charge them for water and sewer. They pay me for water and sewer. That's how it goes. They get the water and sewer bill. It's in their name. They pay for it. Way it goes. Yep. Here's the water sewer bill. You guys pay. Period. That's how it goes. Yep. So my 4s and 5s to those corporates, they love me. They love them. The guys that live there love them. It works out awesome. And I charge a little bit of a premium because obviously it's not 4 people wear and tear. It's 8 people wear and tear. So everything's being used twice as much. Washer and dryer, stove, carpets, everything's being used twice as much. And heavier use too, right? Like these guys go in and clean at the end of the year, but they're still, landscapers. I mean, it's still dirty, it's still dirty. But that's okay. That's all right. And these guys, usually I'll let them clean it first. And then I say, okay, I'm just going to have a fine tune by my people. And my people go in, they fine tune it and clean it. And we still send them the bill. But that's what we're talking about. It's awesome. And it's now something that owner doesn't have to worry about. He just literally picks the phone, calls me. I take care of it. I have buildings for him. The other nice thing too is that the other competition that they have is students. They have a competition for students. So because they have that competition for students, that's a big, big, big deal for them. Students want the same thing. They want their own bedroom, but they want to live with 4 of their friends. They can't afford, like a 2-bedroom is $1,600, $1,800. They're better off in a 4-bedroom that is $2,600 or $2,700, because then they're splitting everything multiple ways, right? They're splitting the heat, they're splitting the electricity, they're splitting the cable, they're splitting the internet. So now they're of 1 of 5 or 1 of 4 as opposed to 1 of 2. So that's why I love these high density units. That's why I buy a ton of them. That's why I own a significant percentage in the market that I work in or do business in. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful to you guys. I think I just crushed that answer. That's pure gold right there. Let's see. So that's what I do so Matthew Paris, that's what I do for travel nurses and corporate rental partners. Crimson Knight, trying to figure out if the upfront cost of propane version is more or less than the maintenance savings over time. Yeah, yeah, it will be. Yeah, there's no doubt. Yep, no doubt. Yep. Over a 10-year period, for sure. Over a 20-year period for the life of the system. Yep, still, I think. That's what my numbers have always shown. Yeah. Matthew Paris, I have a short-term furnished property that I will be putting on the market soon. Need to do the same homework on how to find those types of tenants. Yeah, I would look for, so mine aren't furnished. Mine are H-1B visas. So I would look at nurses, because then you should have it furnished. But what most people don't know, most of those companies have contracts with like an Aaron's or a Rent-A-Center or those types of places. They already have contracts with them. So sometimes it matters if it's furnished. Sometimes they don't care. But that's one of the things you can ask them, because they'll usually, and then come up with a rate for it, furnished or not furnished. And then do that. That's what I would do. Matt Herbert, I have several units where tenants pay their own heat. Yep. Do you know of any thermostats where the heat cannot be turned off and it has a minimum temperature of something like 55? I don't, but think of this. Ask your plumber if instead of doing that, I assume these tenants have a basement, or that there might be a place that you could potentially hide another thermostat, one that they might not know that there's access to, like, I don't know, behind a ceiling tile, behind a wall tile, in the basement, maybe. That's where I put them. So I put a secondary thermostat that if it gets below a certain degree, that thing turns on, regardless of what they have theirs at. Just saying. That's what I do. Because it's their responsibility to not have the heat or the pipes burst. And if it does, then you have to go back and sue them, insurance claim, all this other garbage. So I think I make them aware of that, but I think we say that there's a backup. I think we say that there's a backup thermostat. I don't think anybody has ever asked us anything past that. I think it's, yeah. We just tell them it's a backup thermostat. So yes, that's what I would do. There's also a Chicago company. I want to say, yeah, it's literally called Chicago Controls Thermostats. Yeah, they're welcome for the reference. Yeah, limiting thermostats that are completely tamper resistant. That's what they do. Man, the stuff that I know that just is completely only matters to people like you. It's just amazing. Some of the stuff that I just completely had forgotten about. I'm so glad that you guys asked these questions. I'm so glad. Love it. Love that you get value out of that, because I completely forgotten. So that's great. Good. ML, how hard is it to convert family room to a bedroom? Is there a ballpark cost for a wall and a door? I usually, when I'm adding something like that, I basically budget $1,000. Yep, $1,000. Yep. Yeah. And then as far as the other thing that you want to need too is, depending on the appraiser, you'll need also you'll need to make sure that you have egress windows. That's one thing you have to make sure you have for safety. You'll also have to likely add a smoke, because there's not a smoke a lot of times in that room. And then you'll also want to, so what you guys always see in the background here is pipe. That's what we make our closets out of. So we'll do a straight pipe that's 12 inches, elbow, and then long pipe down, and then feet. And we'll just put that down into the floor. And then that will be like a new kind of ornate, pipe shelving that they can then hang clothes on and put shoes on the bottom. So we do that for what it's worth, and it looks good. Looks good. People like it. They're like, "Oh, cool! I like the pipe closet setup." Cool, we do too. And then you just basically spread it as far apart as the studs are, and then you can get there's 4 screw holes there. You just make sure 2 are in the stud, and you use long lags into those, and that thing's not going to pull off the wall. So, and you don't go any longer than 32 inches. Just measure your studs and just mark it on the wall, but don't go longer than 32 inches, because then you really start to get heavy, and then you're going to get a little bit of it's a metal pipe, so you're still usually okay with everything, but that's what I would use. That works really well. So yeah, about $1,000. The sheetrock is going to cost you about 15 a sheet. The studs are going to cost you probably about $50. The door is going to cost you a couple hundred if you go solid core. You want to match the rest of what you have in the house. And then you can buy the door with trim on both sides. So yeah, $1,000, $1,000, and you're probably good, because it's probably going to be $500 or $600 worth of labor if you don't do it yourself. Yep. Matt, I'm getting rid of a house full of white 3-ways and 1 3-way traditional switches. Yep. 10 years old. Put in motion sensors and paddle switches. Yep. Leviton. Yep. Do you want them? I can PM you to ship. Oh, appreciate that. I toss all those. So everything we use is Leviton throughout. Everything is paddle. We don't use any flippers. Flippers are out, Jeremy. Only Levitons. Yeah, so I appreciate the offer. But yeah, only flats. And then yeah, we use dimmers. And we use motion sensors. So same exact thing. We want it to be very, very easy when somebody's walking in to not have to necessarily find the light. So we put a lot of those in. We do those in our new units, and we're going back and retrofitting our old stuff. So yeah, totally agree with you. Yep, totally agree. I appreciate the offer though. Eli Kohner, ever consider real estate in a foreign country? Yes. Costa Rica, Guatemala. Just not focused on it now. World hates our country a little too much right now. So not focused on it right now. Focused on continuing to build the business here, where I can count on things more. Environment, that sort of thing. Political environment, not political environment. Financial environment, I feel, is safer here than in a lot of those countries where I would want to own something. And right now, the biggest thing is Eliana's chemo. So if we were in any of those places, we have to come back here and have a place to stay and all that other good stuff. So yeah. So for the next, we'll look, but I'd rather something. But yeah, I get it. Like cost of living and that sort of thing. I find that it's easier to have all the amenities that I want and make the extra money than it is to get all the amenities I want and pay a whole lot less to be somewhere else. So that's where we're at for right now. But that's a great question. Angel Art. Hey Matt, what interior privacy doorknobs do you use on your unit, and what color? Interior privacy doorknobs. Yeah. So we use satin nickel. And we buy them in bulk. We just ran out. I haven't reordered. So I'll have to look at that for you, Angel. Doorknobs. But we've used, when in a pinch, we've used the, I think they're $9 or $10 a piece at Home Depot. We've used those. Satin nickel. It's a good doorknob. Yep. We haven't had any issues. And if we did, we returned it out of the box. So yeah, those are good. Yep. Those are good. Hip Harp One Silver. Yep. Sign companies, contractor, government contractors, visas, another golden nugget. That was regarding the corporate tenants, tenants from a landlord perspective. Yeah. Angel R. Okay, this is what I wanted to get to. I've tried ordering from American Corp Flooring, but somehow I got refunded. Their website seems to be having issues. Call Marty directly. Their demand. It's a demand issue. The last time I talked to him, they were waiting on stuff on boats, waiting for it to actually get to them. So they might have sold out of the product, and instead of jerking you around, refund your money. Don't know. I hadn't had that issue with them, but I haven't placed an order with them in probably 8 to 10 weeks. But we're getting ready to. I don't think we're going to put it in this year. I think we're going to put it in next. We might put it in this year. I don't know. We're figuring that out. American Flooring Corp this is Marty's cell 725-212-8610. 725-212-8610. For those of you guys who don't know, I'm not a rep for them. They're not paid advertisement, but this is the stuff that I like. I bought thousands and thousands of square feet of it, and now we're just in the process of actually putting together our order for more. We bought thousands and thousands and thousands of square feet, and we're almost through it all. We've been installing that stuff since I think July. So, yep. ML, very welcome. Jeremy Kirkwood, the Ecobee 4 and 5 have controls and lockout on the thermostat. You can also change it via app during the season change. This is what I do with all my units. Yep. So you certainly can do that. That's what's that cost you? I think that's an expensive. I think it's $150, $200 for that stat. The Landlord ones, the Chicago ones are like $30. $30. But yes, you can go Ecobees. That's kind of like an offshoot of the Nest. Yep, it's an offshoot of the Nest. And I can't speak to their quality, but I assume they're pretty good if Jeremy's putting them in all his units. Hip Hop Silver, great work and ideas today. I have a great room in a property that has 4 switches for all lights, and I have them wired separately. So tenants and I are frustrated. How to fix the problem? The best way to fix the problem is get an electrician. I do not touch anything electrical. I will only swap out outlets. I will not swap out multiple way switches. Nope. That is beyond what I will touch. So I don't know. Sorry. Oh my gosh. We're almost at 3 hours. All right, guys. A few more questions. We'll go until the 3-hour mark. So we got 7 more minutes. I'll keep on answering questions. Yeah, big day today. We covered a lot. We covered the deal. I'll cover the other deal next week. And then the Lambo deal. That will close. I think it closes on the 22nd. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure that closes on the 22nd. Yeah. Jeremy Kirkwood, 150 to 250. Yep. But there are credits here for $100 from power and $50 from gas company. Oh, that's freaking awesome. Yeah, great. That's awesome. Yeah, wow, that's great. Yeah, if you can get those. So I had one of the things that got me started on the IBCs was they were doing like a $1,500 credit. I did one property because the rule was just about new service and converting from an old oil system. And so over the course of like a list of properties, I think we did 9 of them. So we got paid $13,000 to swap those systems. In fact, that's another idea too. Crimson Knight, if you're still watching, take a look at NH Saves. NH Saves. Since you're not going to do it until 2022, there should be some program that they'll roll out around NH Saves that will give you a big return or give you a big bonus. And that's if I think, actually, I wonder, I don't think that's for the propane. I think that's only for natural gas. But check it. It might be for electrical too. Hip Harp 1 silver. New house electrician will be called tomorrow. Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's the thing you got to do, because they might even pop a couple lines in to just give you that, the different functionality that you're looking for. And that can be done. It might be a few hours worth of work, but it will get rid of that pain in the ass. Matt Herbert, back to FI for a moment. Sure. How did you decide you were financially independent? Net worth, cash flow, door count? Not door count. Not net worth, cash flow. Yep. Suffice to say, if I'm one of Michael's millionaires, I'm at least that. But it's cash flow. That's what it comes down to, right? That's how we live our lives, which is every month I have a set of bills. Can I pay those set of bills? Cool. How much do I have in savings? So I would say the two biggest contributors were cash flow and savings. Yep. But cash flow is more important than savings, right? Because my cash flow is massive. Yeah, my cash flow is massive. Yeah, it's big. So yeah, not so savings a little bit, but much more cash flow. Yep, much more cash flow. Chris Webb, thanks for the live stream, and it was good to see Mrs. Lumberjack on a video earlier this week. Keep up the good work. Hey, thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. Yeah, she's great. We're going to be doing we'll be doing something at night. We'll be doing something this week, not competing with Dion. We wouldn't want to go up against the juggernaut that is Dion Financial Talk. So Dion will be doing his thing, but yeah, we'll be doing it maybe Thursday night. So I got to talk to Ashley about that tonight. Actually, after the kiddos are in bed, we're going to talk about what night we're going to do that. I'm going to beg her for it not to be Sunday night. 3 hours gasses me. Not gasses, but I'm tired. I like to go play with the kids, and then after that, then I'm done. So yeah. Chris Allen, thank you, Matt. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Thanks, Chris. You too. Again, if you guys said any of this was valuable to you, please make sure to hit the like button. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I found out last week that 28% of the people that watch this don't subscribe. What the hell? I'll block you people. I don't know who you are. I'm just joking. But yeah, subscribe, because that's how we're trying to build this to make sure that we can get sponsors. So what our goal is to get sponsorship from companies that make a difference to us as landlords, where we can get discounted whatever, whether it's light fixtures, even if it's like a one-time thing where I can go to them and say, hey, we've got 10,000 people that watch this stuff on a weekly basis. This is what we're doing. Let me know what you'd like to do for these people. I basically went to the flooring company and said that. I said, let me know what we can do. Let me know if there's something we can do. Angel, find out on that thing after you call Marty. I want to know. Because if something's changed there, I don't want to be talking about them anymore. If something's changed there and they're not giving people a good experience. Because again, they're not paying me anything. They're not paid for anything. Dion Talk Financial, have a day full of marvelous. Thank you, Dion. You as well. Crimson Knight 921, nothing for propane even before they canceled NH Saves. Yeah, I thought that program might be on the way, the dodo bird. How much do you factor in every month of vacancy in maintenance? I am trying to figure out how you are figuring on 20% returns in Dover. Well, I just walked through. So watch the video. I'm not sure if you were here, but if you watch the video, I don't have vacancies. My vacancy rate last year was 0.6. I don't have vacancies. I never have vacancies. And the only time that I have a vacancy is when I've bought the property, I inherited the tenant, and then binder program, right? Binder method, like what Dion does. I will use them, or I will use that with them, then they will say this is what they're willing to pay. If it's good enough, they stay. If it's not, they go. So yeah, that's how I do it. That's how I do it. So I don't need to account for a vacancy rate that I don't have. Because I really just don't have it. Usually the only time that we have, and we always, I mean, even the people that I just evicted, we're going to have a 1 month vacancy, but that's 3 units across 97 that we had a vacancy. So if I inherit the tenant, there might be a vacancy there eventually, but otherwise we're one in front of the next, unless the people destroyed something, but we just don't really have that problem, thankfully. So yeah, our vacancy rate is always less than 1%. So I don't usually carry it anywhere. Don't need to. But yeah, even if I did on that 34%, I mean, I could lose a month, and that would go down to 31.5%. So I'm still well above 20. It's just like anything. Chart the Dover market, understanding what rents are. Yeah, I have no problem getting into the 30s. Matthew Paris. Answer is only as good as the questions. True. Now I think I get better answers sometimes than your guys' questions. I'm just joking. Something to make me laugh. Been a landlord for 9 years and I haven't had a vacancy yet. Yep, but still set aside 5% of rents for vacancy. I'm pretty fiscally conservative. So you can do that, but guys, we're a little bit over time, but that's fine. You can do that, but if I saved 5% off of every building, off of every unit for vacancy, it becomes way too big of a number. Way too big of a number. That's kind of, in all honesty, that's what my emergency savings is for. But again, most of my units, because they're not single family homes, most of my units, the one unit pays for the entire building. So even if I have a vacancy on a big unit, I'm still not writing a check out of my pocket. I'm just not making profit that month. So, because my deals are fat, 34%, right? I just told you $6,000 a month gross. My mortgage is $2,921. Perfect example. My $3,000 rent basically covers my mortgage, insurance, and taxes. Maybe I'm out of pocket on the water bill for a month, but I don't even get billed water monthly. I get billed water quarterly. So, yeah, not there. I think when I calculate, I am very pessimistic. I only got 8% average in Manchester with 20% month in vacancy and maintenance. Good tip. Didn't know they usually provided their own furniture. Thanks. Yeah, they can. Yeah, so I've done it with so Matthew, I'll cover yours first. So yeah, they will have the places. They will also have a rented furnished rate and a rented non-furnished rate. If they're going to sign up for 6 to 9 months and you're going to make $400 or $500 a month, guess what? Yes, rent it. Yes, furnish it, and they're going to pay for your furnishings or a majority thereof in the first 6-month contract. So yeah, you can absolutely crush it based on the lack, their inefficiencies and them not wanting to have to contract with errands and have somebody pick shit out and stuff out, couches and vanities and forget that stuff. Like I said, so yeah, talk to them about that. And then you can just send them the, if you find the rates 400 or 500 higher, then you can just say, hey, this is what we have in there for stuff, which and make sure you have a desk and that sort of stuff. But yeah, you can absolutely kill it with some of those. They were paying. I've had places that didn't. I've had places that did furnish, and on the places that didn't, yeah, I was making $400 a month extra. You do that over the course of a year, and it's $4,800. You can get a decent couch, a chair, a bed set up. The only thing that I won't do is a mattress. That's the only thing I won't do because it varies so much person to person in what they want, what they like, how it is, how good it is, how bad it is, whatever. So yeah, that's the only thing I won't do. So look at that piece. But yeah, Matt Herbert, yeah, I answered that question on 5% rents. Yeah, 5% of rents for vacancy. Yeah, I would have way too much money dead. I would have way too much dead money. I'm conservative too, but you have to use insurance for what insurance is meant to be used for, so you can grow faster. That's what I've done. So you don't have to do that, but that's what I do. And I like having, what's the likelihood? Like, I was ready and prepared for COVID, because if this is the value and the power of an aged portfolio, only 57% of my tenants, 57% had to pay rent for me to make my nut. That's it. So yeah, based on those numbers, I crush. Yep. Yep. On single families is where those numbers really get tough, right? Because you have one tenant paying or not paying. But that's the other thing too, guys, why I diversified my portfolio. That's why I have COVID assistance rental units in there now. I've got housing units in there now. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6, 7. By the end of January, we will have 10% of our units will be with the COVID program, and 10% of our units will be with the housing program. When those COVID programs expire, we will likely transition them to housing units. So then 20% of my 100% will be guaranteed money from the government, which means only 30% of my 80% that are market rents, only 30% of my 80% need to pay. Do you see how I did that? So that's where within the portfolio you can diversify. I think that's the smart math right there, is percentage of units coming from guaranteed price payments, percentage of units coming from the market, and then percentage of units that are like what I would call specialty, which are maybe long-term nurses or COVID care or something like that, one of those other types of programs that also might pay a premium versus a normal monthly. But that number kind of balances out what you're going to get from a housing side that will be a balance out to what you're getting in the market. And then it's a matter of then just guaranteed money. So if 20% of my units guaranteeingly pay, and I only need 56 to get there, then only 36 of my additional 80, less than half of my market rent payments need to be made in order for me to make my nut. That's even if unemployment goes to 15% or 18%, with those numbers, I'm still okay. I'm still all right. So, Matthew Paris at Matt Herbert, same here. I set 5% for vacancies and 10% for repair capex. Yep. But any turnaround I've had is usually covered by security deposits, lease break fees. Some of my vacancies are low on average. Yeah, I mean, we just don't have vacancies. I get called all the time, like 5 to 7 times a week, called or texted. Do you have anything available? I can fill it anything that I've talked to the tenant. They're like, yep, I'm giving my notice. Okay, fine. We have somebody that just lived in our last single family house or next to last single family house for 13 years. 13 years they lived there. They didn't want to pay the increase in rent. Okay. They found something else 2 towns away in a much cheaper town. Fine. All good. All good. No problem. And we will rent that out for that rent is going to increase 50% because I only gave them a small bump every year. But that rate, that's why for them, it was like, I was very happy for them that they're ready to move on. For me, I'm even happier because I'm going to increase my income on that property 50%. because the rental increase for 50% is all profit. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Awesome. Guys, thank you so much for another really fun weekend. It's been a blast. I hear my kids hollering out there. I'm very interested to see what they made for cookies. Lumberjack. What do you want? So have a great weekend. And Tuesday, I'm on with Mike. Thursday with the Three Amigos. Friday, Mike again. And then Thursday night, I think, is when we're going to try and do Mr. and Mrs. Lumberjack talk real estate investment. So pleasure having you guys. So much fun. Thank you again. Hit your like button on the way out, please. And guys, have a great week and keep doing the work. Get some deals this week. I got 2 last week. Your guys' turn. So do it to it, guys. Really appreciate y'all. A blast having you, and have a super awesome week and get some deals done. Talk soon, guys. Take care.